Alive! It's alive! Alive! It's alive! It's alive! Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, motherfucker.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, everyone.
What up, everybody? It's good to see you. It's good to see you, Morgan. It is alive, and as you can see, they're still not there on time. I figured I would just start a little bit early, say hello to everybody. Yeah, man, it's good to see you guys. Hello, hello, hello. Let me get this out of the way. Let's do that. Get that out of there. There we go. Make myself a little smaller. Good, Morgan. It's great to see everybody, each and all of you. One quick announcement. I was looking on Instagram, and the 12-time Grammy Award winner's following the show now. Shout out to the 12-time Grammy Award winner. She is in the house. She is a part of the Smoke and Scan family. See what happens when you call in enough times to where they're like, well, what the fuck is that shit? Hold on. Oh, that's what it is. Son of a bitch. So that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see you guys. I'm also thinking that I don't know if I'm going to do a show tonight only, guys, because I don't have any more weed. This is it. I talked to Martinez. I'm going to go see him tomorrow morning. Instead of Thursday, I'm going to go see him tomorrow. So I figured maybe just do the tonight's show tomorrow. And then that way we're just on a Wednesday for once. I don't know. That way we have weed because I don't have any weed. So it's literally it. I got enough for today. So that'll be that. So I think that's what we're going to do. And I have to say thank you so much to Jason, man. Jason, thank you so much for the surprise. Jason, I don't want to let him see it just yet. But we're going to bust it out today, Jason, for sure. I want to say thank you again so much for the kind gift. Everybody's going to love it. And I want to ease it in there instead of just dropping the bomb on them. Hi, Terry. And happy birthday to your daughter, Terry. I saw the post there.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's it.
Happy New Year.
Happy birthday, you thing from another world, you.
Yeah, Jason got us something really cool. You're all going to love it. You're going to love it. I just got it the other day. He sent it. It was in the P.O. box, and I went and got it. So, yeah. Yeah, you can't have smoke and scan without, can't be just all scan. No smoke, all scan. Come on. What you want? And then it ain't smoke and scan. You can't wait one day, and then we're back to normal. So I don't want to do like 27 dabs. You know what I mean? And get all blown out. I'm trying to, take it easy on my lungs a little bit. Thank you so much, Calamity Girl.
My money don't jiggle, jiggle. It folds. I like to see you wiggle, wiggle. For sure.
That's it, Rick. Drops the bomb on you. Drops the bomb. What's my P.O. box nonsense? If you could hit me on any of the Linktree sites with a message, I will gladly give that to you. I just, I don't like putting it out there just normally. That way I know who's sending me stuff. And if I get a glitter bomb, I know who to report it to the federal authorities. Not to say I've got one yet, because thankfully I have not. Knock on some wood. What does my shirt say? Come here, Stinky. Come here, Stinks. Eat it, Stinks. Look at him, he's right there. It's right there. Oh, quick update, guys. Quick veterinarian update. Okay? From this guy right there. I'm really proud of him. I took him yesterday. I'm telling you, it was a 12-minute drive each way. He didn't meow one fucking time. Not once. I'm telling you that he likes going. I might have to take him out and roll around in the car one night. Like do a smoke and scan live with Stinks. I'm telling you, it's about there. We're about that close. So he was so healthy. He was such a good, clean bill of health. They didn't even want to give him anything. I said, but he's still, a little bit like that. He's like, like something's caught. He's like, yeah, it's the changing of the season. It could be dust and dander in his nose, long as there's no discharge or no blood or anything like that, we're good to go. And I said, no, nothing like that. He's been healthy. He's been happy. He's been running, purring, eating like a two horses eats. I'm telling you, he don't leave a scrap of food. That's how much he eats. So I explained all that to him. I'm using the lysine. And funny enough is they said, just use the lysine a little bit. There's not really any studies proving that it does anything great for them. So, and I said it did seem to lessen the cough a little, or the sneeze rather, a little bit. But he didn't really kind of believe me. But you want to know what's awesome? Besides a clean bill of health, remember I told you Stinks was 15.3 pounds. He was a heavy boy because of that goddamn blue buffalo food. Today, 4 months later, he is now 11.3 pounds. He's lost 4 fucking pounds. Sheesh. There we go, guys. Let's get it.
In person and in the council chamber.
Yeah, he
by
lost 4
teleconference.
pounds.
Madam Clerk,
He's
you
exactly
call the
where
roll.
he should be. He shouldn't be less or more of anything. He's
De Leon,
perfect.
Harris Dawson, Hernandez.
And there's Mr.
Hutt,
Herman.
Krikorian, Lee, McCosker, Padilla, Park, Price, Rahman, Rodriguez, Soto Martinez, Yaroslavsky, 12 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Great. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes of September 19, 2023.
Councilmember Rodriguez moves. Councilmember Soto Martinez seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions
thanks,
for
Jowden.
approval.
Appreciate you.
Councilwoman Hutt moves. Councilwoman Park seconds. Next.
Yeah, I told you.
Mr. President,
I gave him
today's
that.
Tuesday's
I gave him that good food, that science diet. I'm sorry, not the science, the Hills prescription food. And I told you, I've been playing with him more. Making him run around more. Donald Harlan's there. Mr. Herman's there. Is there. I don't see Stacy yet.
Begin.
Here we go.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My foot on my leg, you mean? Yeah, the leg's not bad, really. I'll be weird. It was really weird. It looked really nasty, but
Mr. Herman, please do not interrupt this meeting.
Didn't really hurt.
This flag salute. This is your first and only formal
Oh,
warning.
Mr.
Do not
Herman.
disrupt this meeting or you will be removed.
He can't even get through the flag salute. Hi, Kayla. Good morning.
There is a request to hold item 43 on the
can't
desk,
get
and
past
items
that.
1 through 4
He's
are
too
items
funny.
noticed for public hearing. Items
right, let me break up this
5
weed.
through 30 are items which public hearings have been held. Items 31 through 43 are items which public hearings have not been held. Items 44 through 53 are closed session items considered by the Budget, Finance, and Innovation Committee. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, without objection, those items are before us now. Members, do you have any items that you wish to call special? Mr.
Right,
Price.
we got little stinkums
Thank
in
you, Mr.
there.
President. I'd like to recuse myself from
Oh, you're
item
going to
one because
the-
of my
are you
wife's
going to the show, Jim?
employers have worked with the clients in the past.
Okay, we will make note of that when we get to that. Ms. Rahman.
I'd like to call item 23 special.
Okay, item 23 is special. Mr. Soto Martinez.
Yeah, I'd like to call 7, 9, and 11 special for a separate vote, please.
7, 9, and 11 for special vote. Mr. J. Leon.
Item number 39, special for comments.
Oh, it's 39 special for
Comments.
comments. Okay.
Nobody in jail yet? Nope. The justice,
On item
the
23,
wheels of
may bring
justice
some folks
turns
to the
very
table on
slow.
that as well.
As they say.
Any other specials, folks, colleagues? Okay. So we're now able to vote on certain items. Madam Clerk, which items can we vote on?
Thanks, Jim.
Items that have not
Appreciate
been
you.
called special, that have
So you
already
are
had
going.
public hearings?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, council may now vote on items 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 through 22, 24 through 30.
Well, sure. If you're if you're a nobody like me,
Okay.
or you, Rick,
great.
we'll
Without
get
objection, let's,
convicted
open the
before
roll
we're
on those
even
items.
brought to
Close the roll.
justice.
Tally the votes.
These
12
people?
ayes.
Nah.
Mr. President, there is a request to send
Their little
items
buddies love 'em.
19, 20, and 21 forthwith, sir.
Without objection, those items will be sent forthwith. Okay, so then what else do we have before us now?
Sir, shall council consider
I'm just
the
thinking.
closed session items considered by Budget and Finance and Innovation Committee?
What's up,
Yes,
Richard?
as the budget chair, I will say that those items were considered in budget committee. I do not believe we need to have a closed session to hear those items again, but any council members certainly welcome to call them special, so we can move forward, and they have been heard, with a vote on those items. Seeing no speakers on the queue, let's vote on those items. Open the roll.
Mr.
They are
President,
elite
may
commies.
I read the settlement amount, sir?
Yes, thank you for that.
Item 44, in the case entitled George Lackner versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend up to $700,000 in settlement.
What?
Item 45, in the case entitled Manuel
700K?
Alejandro Barrientos versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $301,500 in settlement.
There's
Item
$1 million gone of our
46,
money.
in the case entitled Charf Lloyd versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $350,000 in settlement. Item 47, in the case entitled Maria Julieta Paz Menchu versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $450,000 in settlement. Item 48, in the case entitled Edward Clay versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $450,000 in settlement. 49, in the case entitled Jacqueline Road versus Cephadin Pacoli et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $435,000 in settlement. Item 50, in the case entitled Nubia Castro versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend up to $3 million in settlement. Item 51, in the case entitled Christopher Andrew Scott versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to reject the plaintiff's offer of settlement. Item 52, in the case entitled Robin William de la Pena et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $500,000 in settlement. Finally, in item number 53, in the case entitled Jones, Lang, LaSalle, Americas Incorporated, there is a recommendation to expend up to $479,766.62 plus interest in settlement.
Settlements have been read. Seeing no speakers on the queue, let's open the roll.
They're morons, nonsense. Don't worry about them. They're stupid.
Close
They're
the
low
roll, tally
IQ
the votes.
morons here.
12 ayes.
They don't know anything. They won't
Thank
know
you.
that until somebody
What is that
tells
reference
them that.
to?
The mask makers themselves could tell them that.
any
They
else
obviously
for
don't
public
understand why it's called an N95 mask. Okay?
don't think
It's
so.
not because it's a model number.
So-
There's a specific reason why it's called a 95 mask.
There's an amendment.
Because it only stops 95% of the particulate. I'll let them know that right off the jump.
Before we go to public comment, is there an amendment that
And half of these idiots are
Colleague,
wearing
let's
some
read the record
stupid
with-
mask that some moron
item
sells
is
out
the amendment?
on the end of their street corner with fucking drinks and cookies. You want to buy a mask too? A little Barbie mask? A little Ken mask? Foolish idiot morons. And that's all I can tell you. You're a foolish idiot moron. That's it. I'm not going to mince
Councilwoman
words.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm not going to
President.
coddle
I'd like
you.
to make a amendment to item 43.
Okay? I'm not gonna
Mr.
insult my
City
own
Attorney, do you mind
intelligence.
reading it into the record?
Of course.
Thank you.
5 years now we've been
And
past
I
this
believe
shit
the
almost.
second
Almost
is,
5 years.
Councilmember
Here I
Reed,
am.
Is that correct?
Remember the Darwin? Just let him die.
So the
Darwin.
motion reads that I move that the
Darwin.
item number 43 be amended to adopt the following
Thank
recommendation.
you for making the mask makers
in
rich.
lieu of the recommendations in the CAO report.
Wow,
One,
you stayed the same.
Authorize the general managers of the Port of Los Angeles, the Bureau of Engineering, Department of Recreation and Parks, or their designees to prepare and submit a grant application for proposals outlined in Attachment 1 of the September 15th,
Yeah, that's Grote.
2023
His last name is
CIO
Grote.
report attached to this file.
Attorney Grote.
2. Instruct the general managers.
Take my
of the Port of
19th. I
Los
can't take my
Angeles,
19th if I ain't
the
taking
Bureau
my
of
first.
Engineering, Recreation and Parks, or their designees to report back if the city is awarded the grant, to
up,
request
P-Trax? How are
authority
ya?
to accept the grant award, and to identify match and front funding. 3. Authorize the Los Angeles Department of Transportation to submit a letter of partnership in support of the Metro grant application outlined in Attachment 1. And 4. Instruct LADOT to report back if Metro is awarded the grant.
She's a Barbie.
To outline community engagement plans
Yeah,
and
it's eating
provide
up.
an implementation timeline.
Okay.
It's climbing. 340 and climbing.
So the amendment's been read into the record. We will deal with it when the item comes up. And we'll now move to public comment.
Mr. President, may I read
Mr.
the
President, when did we
call-in
begin?
instructions, sir?
Sure, although we're going to start with in-person.
Right,
but go ahead and
against
read it.
95%. So there's still 5%
As
particulate getting
indicated
through,
on
right,
the
Terry?
agenda,
All right,
members of the
time
public
for
wishing to offer
round one. Let's get
comment
it.
should call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466, then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant
And just think,
ID.
how many people
Once
are
admitted
not,
to the
Terry?
meeting, press star-
I guarantee you, Terry, if we went up and down the street and saw 10 mask wearers, I bet you 2 of the 10 are wearing N95s. Everybody else is some other garbage mask that's way less than 95.
Use meeting ID number 160
or a fucking bandana like some people in there.
Press pound again when
We know who
prompted
it is,
for
wearing a
participant
bandana
ID.
on their face.
Once admitted
I won't
to the
name
meeting,
her.
press star 9 to request to speak. When it's your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute.
Dying.
To people providing public comment, when it is your
She's
turn
already
to speak,
dying.
either at the podium or on the phone, please state which of the agenda items you would like to speak to, and/or whether you want to provide general public comment. You'll have 1 minute
That's
per
it,
item,
Zod.
up to 3 minutes totals, for the items open for public comment. And, if you wish, 1 minute for general public comment. Please speak
Really?
to the items before beginning
Skis, you
general
couldn't
public
figure out
comment.
whether I'm pro-mask
We
or
will tell you
against
when your
masks
time
with
is
what
up.
I just said.
When speaking on the agenda items, you must
Really?
be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can.
If you're a mask-wearing person,
if you are
you're a
not
moron.
on topic, or
Does that tell you
if
that
we
anything?
Can't tell whether you
Should
are
I tell
on
you anything
topic,
else?
You will
You're a
get
moron.
one brief warning.
You're
from
scared,
me or the president.
and you're a moron. You don't
At that
understand how
point,
it works.
You need to
because
immediately
they told
and
you how it
clearly
works.
Get on topic.
And you're
If you
Man,
do
they
not do
told me
so,
how it works,
or
I'm
if you
scared.
begin straight off topic, you
I'm
will forfeit
pro-weed.
the rest of your speaking time, and we will move on to the next speaker.
never got
The
boosted,
items
nor will I
open for
ever.
public
I'll
comment
die
are 1
unboosted.
through 4 and 31 through 43.
I'll let the guinea pigs be
You
the
may,
guinea
of course,
pigs.
speak to any of the other items.
And they
or
really
any-
don't think they're stupid. They really go into a line like cattle into their nearest church parking lot and wait for some stranger to stick something in their arm. And they tell me I'm a weirdo.
Zoom will prompt you to press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Oh, I hope they're
If you do not
pissing in
do
those
so,
syringes. I
council
really do. I
staff
hope
will prompt
homeboys
you
out
once
back,
more.
they got a few
At
bums
that
in a
point,
line
you
just
need to
filling them up
immediately
with
unmute
piss.
yourself, or
Sticking 'em in ya.
unfortunately, you will forfeit your time and we will move on to the next
It's all
speaker.
that bum piss that kept you
Finally,
going.
because of a brief time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, 2 things are important. First, while waiting for your turn to speak, please keep an ear to the phone so you know in real time when to
Are we
press
gray
star
screen,
6
guys?
to unmute. Second, if you're listening to the meeting
I don't see it, but
on
it's
another
red on my
device,
side.
please turn
Spectrum.
down the volume on those devices immediately when it
Hopefully
is
you're
your
not
turn
gray
to
screen.
speak. Between the time delay and feedback, it will cause a great deal of
No?
confusion if you continue to listen on those other devices.
Weird. It's red
Thank
in
you.
mine right now. It's all red. That's so weird.
Okay, so
And I
all
lowered
speakers,
the bit rate too.
The first person on my
As
list.
long as we're all
is
good,
Mr.
I'm good.
Herman.
I don't care. I don't give a
Although
fuck
you
what
use
that
the
color
N-word in
is.
your
Let it
name,
be
I'm not
purple.
gonna
I don't
read
give a
that,
shit. As long as
but
you're good,
folks
I'm
can
good.
know of your
Let's go.
use of that word. Then followed by Donald Harlan, Andrew Graebner, Ada Murillo.
Donald Harlan coming up quick. Where's Cat? Get Cat. Somebody text Cat quickly. Tell her to get in here. Oh, under over. Hurry. 20. Under over. Hurry.
Good morning. Which of the items would you like to speak on?
38, 39, 40, and general comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
All right, 38 is using the City Hall Tom Bradley Room for the Innovation and Performance Awards and Reception. You know, I guess the city has to honor other people that have they're doing innovation, doing good performance, since none of you are doing any of that. So your performance is terrible and you're not innovating in good ways. 39 is a Kevin De Leon motion for, it looks like more police funding in CD14 or something like that. But whatever this is, there shouldn't be any more no more cops at the parks. So fuck the cops, and none of you should be voting for any Kevin De Leon motion, regardless of what it is, because Kevin De Leon is anti-black, anti-poor, anti-indigenous, and needs to go. 40 is lighting up City Hall. We could be using that money for much better things. I mean, no disrespect to the person who's being honored, but, you know, again, and it looks like this already happened. So, I mean, you know, you should, like, how does that even work? Do you just have an agreement to just, you know, just pay whenever you feel like it, you know? I wish most people had that option on most things.
8.
Yeah, all right, let's see. General public comment.
9.
Kevin De Leon, you're just going to lose so badly in that re-election.
10. 11.
Like, you might as well just not even try. You're going to lose.
12.
So, yeah, we have Blumenfield up there right now. So, Blumenfield, we know you're very close with Kevin De Leon. You're already trying to ban more people from the meeting, and you need to stop doing that. It's illegal. You know it's illegal, and you know you're going to get sued very soon if you keep doing that. Maybe if you were doing good things, you wouldn't have to violate the law to try to stop all people from coming and holding you accountable. So, yeah, and, you know, the cops, you're all fucking complicit in all of this. You've had almost a year to quit if you don't agree with what's going on. Quit or you will be...
Okay, that's your time. Thank you.
Oh, 19!
No outbursts from the back.
19!
If you outburst again in the back, I'm going to have to
There was a
ask
few
you to be rude.
uhs,
This is your
not
one and only
ums.
warning.
Got to be careful. He says and So we're counting the ums, not the uhs.
Good morning. Which of the items would you like to speak on?
19!
First of all, it's not good, motherfucker, because I want to speak on all motherfucking items and my non-general public comment. How much fucking
So
time
you
do I
have
have?
3 minutes for the
Circle K?
items
Viewer
and 1
discretion
minute
is
for general public
advised.
comment.
Yeah.
Please begin with the items first.
Viewer discretion is
So,
advised.
in item 1, motion of blue field tax equity, why is it that the name Richardson keeps coming up in development? And the reason is because we're finding out that Ms. Richardson, along with Current Price, had a scheme to defund the public of its resources. Thank you for that. Off of West Washington Boulevard, Council District 10, dumb nigger, file number nigger 230902. Then we go to Hugo and Tracy, who I thought Tracy wasn't surprised not to be an alcoholic, but she's pushing for more sales of alcoholic beverages. That's what we need in this fucked up country. More alcohol so you delusional motherfuckers can continue to suppress the public and monitor the way we behave in the community because you decide to put sales of alcohol in our minority communities, you fucking niggers. Then, number 4, fuck number 4. Let's go to items 31, Circle K. Are you listening, you dumb bitch? Yeah. The reason why I call you Circle K, dumb bitch, for wildlife access projects, Del Rio project can be used as matching funds for the Reconnecting Nigger MacArthur Park project. Do you got that, Circle K? Am I on topic? Is it unfortunately that the LADOT fucking Metro fucking project, there is no fucking matching fund? And for the fucking Hollywood Central Park, a fucking matching $500,000, which amounts to $500,000, fucking stupid city attorneys, need to be identified RAP, and grant that award. Now that you know, you dumb nigger, I am on topic. I've been on topic. And whether or not you're a fucking racist and you want me to be quiet and hinder me from speaking, I still plan to talk about LAPD. Fuck the police. And that reason was because this morning there, I was speaking on behalf of CD14 Boyle Heights, residents of Evergreen, because some fucking maniac killed 2 children, and the only person who can represent us right is Kevin DeLeon. And you suppress him by committee, suppress him by commission. Why? Why not let Kevin DeLeon do his motherfucking job? Vote for Kevin DeLeon. Fuck you, get some balls. Now into my general public comment. The political arena is often abusive. Public issues should be uninhibited, robust, wide open, and include venomous, caustic, sometimes very unpleasant, sharp attacks against dirty niggers. You're all a bunch of dirty niggers. Society has raised us to be dirty niggers. Ask Boise. Ask NWA. Niggers with attitude, you are. For the reason, how far is the nigger going? I'll read it sensitively because Juju might get mad. This is what we're going to do to the niggers. A dirty nigger, send the Jews back to Israel. Let's give them back to the dark garden. Save America. Let's go back to constitutional betterment. Bury the niggers. We intend to do our part. Give us our state rights. Freedom for the white. Nigger will have to fight for every inch on, Bob.
Thank you.
Jesus.
Next one is Darnell Harlan.
Jesus, he went on in.
And Amanda
Where's
London.
Kat? Where's Kat? Her
Dan,
boyfriend's right there.
Come on up.
Kat, where are you
And before we
at?
begin
Your
the
boyfriend's
next
right
public speaker,
there.
For those of you who are attending this meeting for the first time, either in person or virtually, please know that we have to allow the speakers to speak during public comment. That does not mean that this body supports or agrees with the things that they say, including the racial language and slurs that they use.
Well, there you go, Enrique.
Could you please remind us of the name that you signed up under and the items you would like to
That's
speak
why
on?
they allow it. They have
My
to.
name is Ada Murillo,
It's
and
part
it's
of
for general
the Second
comment.
Amendment, or First Amendment,
So you have
rather.
1
Sorry.
minute.
Okay. Good morning again,
freedom of
council
speech.
members.
Oh,
My
there's
name is Ada
Spindler.
Murillo,
Look,
and I'm the
look at
vice
him, look at him, look at
president
him.
of ASME Local 3090. Behind me, I have a group of park activity monitors that maybe a lot of you have not heard of. A lot of them are hurting right now because of the strike, and I will let them tell you their individual story. However, I am here behind the members of my union, and I'm here to ask for your help. I have discussed this in the past, and I'm requesting and asking that one of you please ask the LAPD to present an audit on all of the full-duty officers that are working inside the office. Full-duty officers, and there are many. I've been there 34 years, and I can attest to that. We need to put them out in the field and stop depleting that budget and use it on people like the rest of my members so that we can go out there just as well as LAPD and do our job with a fair and equitable salary. So please, somebody present that motion so that they can do that audit. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker is Darnell Harlan, Amanda Lundberg, Anthony Edwards.
Good morning. Which of the items would you like to speak on?
Hi, I'm Donald Harlan. I'd
Oh.
like to speak on agenda items number
hold on,
1, 4, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22.
Thank you, Jason. You
23,
rock.
24,
Jason got us the puppet.
27, 28, 29, 30, 40, 37, 38, 39,
He'll make an appearance
43.
back when Spindler's
so, Mr.
up.
Harlan, not all of those items are open for public comment.
Yes.
The items
Kat
that
here?
are open for public comment
here just
are
in
1
time?
through 4 and 33 through
Where's
43.
Kat, man?
Sorry, 31 through 43. So you have
Pickle, I got
3
it from
minutes for the
Jason.
items
Jason
that are
sent it
open
to
for
me.
public comment. You can,
I don't
of
know
course,
where he
speak
got
any
it.
other items during your 1 minute of general
that was a
public
surprise
comment.
that Jason sent
please
us.
begin with the items.
Jason, you rock.
Agenda item number 1, tax notes. There's a tax equity.
Yeah, you'd have to ask him where he got it. I don't know.
Tefra something, financial responsibility.
puppet.
There's
Cat's
not
here,
to be any
yes.
tax notes issued by the city whatsoever. There's nobody in the city that has authority to issue tax notes. And you're not to be issuing tax notes to develop real estate or maintain real estate, especially not my property. Agenda item number 1 is 3300 West Washington Boulevard. It's an unmarked property. That's a sure sign that's one of mine. It existed but is mine before they started the current count.
Yes, John.
There's a fake accessory report in agenda item number 1 from 1962, and that property is surrounded by nuisance properties. I noticed that Al Gore that the LA Union School District was promoting next door wasn't the same Al Gore that was in the White House. They sent a fake. So all that's marked as nuisance property full of illegals along there. No tax notes for those people. Number 4, revenue bonds for 23036, 23060 Ventura Boulevard. No, these people are highly involved in the government. We're talking like you have to fight them in the Matrix, and you have to fight them in the 2008 financial crisis, over the internet, all across the world, all through the government. You guys aren't up to that. Number 4, they don't need revenue bonds at all, believe me. Those are the people that were doing the illegal real estate in between when everybody made their move right before the financial crises. There's a long-standing villain in the government here in Los Angeles, and you guys aren't equipped to deal with that. No revenue bonds. Number 37, 1503 West 207th Street, Torrance. It's one of my vacant lands. 1975. Oh, that sounds like me. There's a big problem. Those people trying to sell those properties over there in Torrance over there, those factories, yeah? Those cities use those properties a long time.
Smoke.
Trying to push projects through, a lot of failed stuff, a lot of people worried over there. They're going to lose their ass for their failed jobs. And they want to sell that land. Looks like 2021, somebody got 1.2 million out of there. 2007, 450,000 off that property. And then around there, 2016, 2017, tens of millions of dollars worth that property was sold for.
General public comment?
Okay, I just finished agenda item number 37. Yeah, I'm not. You know, you guys aren't supposed to be doing anything with that. All those people in there go to jail, even if they're your pops. Okay. There's a lot of corruption here in the city, and there's a big problem in the breakdown of government and the way the city councils run, the way the people that are running the city council are running it. They don't read the agenda. They don't do due diligence, research the agenda items. You guys here at the Horseshoe don't do any of that stuff. You're not doing your job at all. In fact, it seems that you're doing the opposite of your job. Your job is to centralize the power here in the city, and instead you've encouraged others to be empowered for things that you don't have power for. They need to completely shut you down, not 1 day a week or 2 days a week. They need to just stop your business.
That's all he said. Even if it's your pops.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Even if it's your daddy, he's going to jail.
Amanda Lundberg, Anthony Edwards, Umnon.
Good morning. Amanda Lundberg for general public comment.
Okay, so you
Lundberg? Oh, is that Lundberg's daughter?
Animals exist for their own purpose. They are sensitive, emotional, and intelligent beings, independent of their utility to humans. Also deserving of their most basic interests, such as avoiding pain. These things should be considered as part of a progressive community. To continue to allow the exploitation of animals by humans in the name of entertainment and events that are so violent, outdated, and unjust, such as rodeo, would be an example of our city yielding to the normalcy of oppression instead of taking a stance against it. Dismissing animal rights issues leads to inconsistencies in our claims of being a progressive city. Rodeo animals are victims in that they are intentionally treated in an unfair way for the unnecessary purpose of entertainment. We must begin to consider animals before the question of what to do about their rights becomes unavoidable and we end up on the wrong side of history. Council members are expected to lead and represent our community. The voters of Los Angeles are watching this issue very closely. We want to know who the animals' allies are in City Hall, because those are the people who will get reelected. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Amanda Lumber,
Yeah, a lot of
who
people
has
hate those
spoken.
rodeos
Anthony
out here.
Edwards,
All the
Amnon,
progressives,
and
anything
June,
that's
the initial
progressive turns
C.
to shit.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name that you signed up under and the items you would like to speak on.
Good morning, sir, and I thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Amnon. I'm a major with the United States Air Force and a former police volunteer for 15 years. I'm talking about the agenda item number 23.
Okay, so item number 23 is not open for public comment, but you can speak to it during general public comment. So you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you very much, sir. I just want to call your attention to everybody that this is going to be a demographic disaster. We did not give
Democrat
we were
disaster.
not given the opportunity to submit any impact statement because we found out about it only 5 days ago. We're totally in the dark. I don't know how the developer was able to get the approval and all these things, and I don't know how they did it. This is an R1 zone from the beginning of the history of this area. It's an area that is it's a very small. To build a 7-story building with 200 units, it's going to create a complete disaster. You're going to bring in 200 families, which is about 800 to 1,000 more people. It's an intolerable density, safety issue. There will be lots of people, small children walking in the streets there. We ask you, there are...
Speaker, your time has expired.
Speaker, we don't care that you're a major in the armed forces.
Don't let the political consideration and financial reasons
Speaker, your time has expired. We have to move on to the next speaker.
They don't care that you served their country long enough to become a fucking major.
The initial C.
And let's just take the mic away from the major.
Corey Mack.
Hopefully he remembers that when he goes votes.
Truck Trujillo, Corey Mack.
Sure, he'll
and
still
then
vote the
Cynthia
same way.
Clemens.
So you deserve to have
Any
the
of those
mic
names,
snatched from
please?
you, if you
Come on
did.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items
Major
you would like
pain.
to speak on.
Yes, I'm Corey Mack of District 13, speaking on Councilmember Blumenfield's
Corey Mack was a
rodeo
rapper, right? No, it's
ordinance
Craig
and
Mack.
general public comment.
Okay, so the rodeo ordinance, I don't believe, is on the agenda. So you have
Sorry.
1 minute
But
for
it's
general
in,
public comment.
I'm doing it in general public.
Yes, of course.
right.
Okay, please begin.
LA is incredibly diverse
I am.
with all walks of life and political opinions. And rightfully, our
Hamburglar?
leadership is guided by principles of tolerance and open-mindedness for all, including in the pursuit of cultural activities. But as in any just society, there are limits to this forbearance.
Does look
when
like her.
others, including animals, suffer needless harm.
One tooth also,
Many
just like her.
rodeo events inflict injury, even death, on the animals used. This is well documented. In a recent survey on entertainment and sporting events Angelinos attend, rodeos were at the bottom of the list, less than monster jams. Indeed, less than half were even aware that rodeos are held in LA. So not only does hosting rodeos reflect badly on our city, they are also not a significant part of our cultural heritage. We don't need them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speakers, we have C. Chuck Trujillo, Cynthia Clemens.
Look at this chick.
Elena Addis.
This chick's trying to steal customers. Tell him, hey, get over here.
Good morning.
She's
if you
taking
could
a
please
drink from
remind us
them.
of the name you signed up under and the items
She was
you
just
would like
telling
to
them,
speak
hey,
on.
come over here. Come to my
Chuck
bar.
Trujillo, general public comment.
So you have 1 minute.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Chuck
Busy
Trujillo.
drinking.
I work for the Park Film Office.
Well, she's supposed to
at
be
the
working.
Park Film Office, half-timer, and throughout the city, half-timers are forced to, limited to working only 1,040 hours per year. At Park Film Office, most of us exhaust that within 6 or 7 months, forcing us to pay for our own benefits while not working. In in our MOU, it says half-timer
So James,
will work 1,040 hours, but not limited to. And then underneath it'll say civil service only. Well, I don't know too
That
many
you,
civil
Buzz?
service half-timers, but we're forced to pay for benefits, and we'd like the city council to hear us out during our contract negotiations to eliminate this. This eliminates programs like in rec and parks for children, after school programs. They'll have a rec and park assistant, and he runs out of hours, no more program. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Gave him the buzzer.
And someone
Gave him
signed
the
up
whistle.
with the initial C. Cynthia Clemens. We also have someone who signed off.
The
as
view's too
Adolf
bright?
Hitler.
What do you mean?
And Anthony Edwards. Come on up.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you would like to speak on.
Sure. My name is Elena Addis, and I'm speaking on number 23.
Okay, so item number 23 is not open for public comment, but you can speak to it during general public comment. So you have 1 minute.
Okay. As homeowners, we feel that it's unfair that we were robbed of our substantive due process due to executive order that was rammed through and then redacted. We understand that the city wants to honor the redacted law for the developers' sakes. But as homeowners, we expect the city to honor the status quo, who expected you expected when we purchased our homes. We purchased our homes in a quiet cul-de-sac zoned only for single-family housing. For the city to allow the zoning to change without any notice, hearings, or due process, and it is unconstitutional and frankly unacceptable. We have 4 special needs children living on our block and a special needs school next door. 200 new cars driving through a cul-de-sac puts these children in unacceptable risk and injury, if not death. Does the city want their blood on their hands? The mayor herself acknowledged that the law was irresponsible as she revoked it. The housing being built is a moderate income only. By standards, it is unacceptable.
Speaker, your time has expired.
I just want to let you know that we will
People?
keep fighting this fight. This isn't over.
Yeah, I don't see Stacy in there. Doesn't mean she's not
Thank
going
you.
to call
Next
in.
speaker.
Doesn't mean she's not in the hall. They might. Sometimes they
Names that
sign
I've
up and
called,
they go
anyone of the names
outside.
that I've already called.
Smoke a
I'll
cigarette.
continue reading additional names.
Go to the bathroom, whatever.
Okay, again, I'm only going to read it last time. Someone who signed up as Hitler, and we have Anthony Edwards, Chris
Somebody
Parsons,
signed up as
C,
Hitler. What an
Cynthia
asshole.
Clemens,
What a
Ovaya
dickhead.
Sedano, Ava.
Who would do that?
Ava E.
Who signed it up as Hitler?
Any
It
of
has
those
to be
folks
Mr.
here?
Herman. Who else
Those
is gonna-
names that have been called.
Who else is signing up as Hitler?
If not, I'll continue with
Just
the names.
has to be. Who else? Who else?
Welcome.
Good morning. If you could
Unless it's
please-
Mr. Spindler. Maybe Mr. Spindler.
On agenda item 23, I know I have only 1 minute. I just want to
Does
say up
that?
front, I'm not paid. I don't receive any money. I know there are a lot of paid activists here, but everything I say comes from the heart. I think it's outrageous that low-income buildings are not subject to the same quality standards than normal buildings. I think it's outrageous that developers are allowed to take shortcuts. And Nicky Raman, I'm asking you, you're supposed to be supporting low-income people, but if you let this project go through as it is planned, it is a safety nightmare. We will have 400 cars in a one-lane cul-de-sac. We will have 400 cars and 148 parking spaces in a neighborhood where there is no parking space. So I'm asking you, why do low-income children not deserve a safe environment? Why are low-income children treated as second-class citizens in the city of LA? I am asking all of you to vote against this project, send the developers back. They need to come back with a safer proposal than what is on the table right now.
But you got to remember, Euros usually speak a few languages.
Thank you.
Bilingual, trilingual. So a lot of times they don't. I notice they don't lose their accents because they're busy learning many different languages.
The name you signed up under.
So I don't know. Something that I've noticed.
Good morning,
What's up,
council
OCB?
members. My name is Elvia Sedano, and I'm here to
Elvia?
speak on general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute.
Elvia.
We have some new Los Angeles council members on board that ran on a progressive platform. Beating up sentient, innocent beings for so-called sport is not progressive. The Progressive magazine, listed as a voice for peace and social justice since 1909, published an article in 2015 called Making Animal Protection a Political Issue. The article references many legislative wins for the animals and specifically mentions California and how we led the way with the bullhook ban. The last paragraph encourages lawmakers to align their values with their policies. Most people hate to see cruelty to animals, yet the institutionalized abuse of them is legal and legislators feel comfortable ignoring their plight. Let's embrace our common ground with regard to the most egregious animal abuse and work as an organized force to shake that comfort. Thank you.
You know, Mike's Greenspan is there talking to Mr. Herman, who ate all the pussy shirt. This guy who
Thank you.
wore the shirt first, he's there too. We
Okay,
haven't heard from him.
Any of the names I've called, or I'll start calling new names?
Let's
Okay,
call
welcome,
Mr.
sir.
Spindler. Come on.
Good morning. If you could please remind
Mr.
us of
Spin-
the name that you signed up under and the
I
items you'd
yeah,
like
I
to
signed
speak
under
on.
Chris Parsons, and I'm talking about number 23.
Oh, you weren't Hitler?
So you have 1 minute for general public.
Yeah, it'll be brief. I don't know how many of you.
Sorry,
are
Hitler was
paying that
next.
Kind of attention, but
we can't. Hold
yeah,
on.
it's
We got to
this
put you
has been
behind
an
you.
R1 zone. I think since the beginning of all these houses going in, I understand the mayor signed this ED1 that allowed. It wasn't really proofread properly, so there's a bit of a loophole that this billionaire developer is trying to use to put a now 7-story high-rise in a neighborhood entirely populated by single-family homes. The whole thing seems completely insane, and if any of you actually walk over to Ethel and stand there and look around, you see that this small side street could not possibly handle 400 to 500 to 600 people that are going to be moving in there. We think this is utterly outrageous, and it's worth noting the developer apparently also lied to a school for disabled children to get them to sell him the property. We understand he told them that he would build 6 houses there and is now planning a 7-story high-rise. So we really think this should absolutely not go through. This is pretty egregious and a disgusting money grab at our expense. Thank you.
You let him fool you, man. He was a smooth talker.
I'm going to call some additional names.
Mr. Spindler?
Unless anyone I've called so far. I haven't called you yet, Mr. Goat Puppet, although that you are the next one I'm going to be calling, but you jumped the gun. I called.
You jumped the gun.
Cynthia Clemens, and then I'm assuming this is you. It says F.U. Goat. There's another one that says Goat Puppet Developer. You know you're only allowed to sign up once? Which name did you sign up under this time, Mr. Spindler?
Signed up as Adolf Hitler IV and friends, sir.
Okay, so you did not sign up as Goat Puppet? Or F.U. Goat?
What's that? I will take, on the advice of Mr. De Leon, I will plead the fifth. Sir.
Okay, just to be clear, and I'm going to state this, when you sign up more than once, that is a disruption to this meeting.
No, it's not.
And it is a disruption,
No, it
and
isn't.
if you continue to do that, you will be removed from this meeting.
Mr. Grote, tell your client to stop
Mr.
fucking
Spindler,
around.
your public speaking time has not started
Mr.
yet, so
Grote,
please
Mr.
let.
Okay,
Point of
Mr.
order.
Spindler, which
Point
items
of
would you like to
personal
speak on?
privilege, Mr. De Leon, point of personal
Mr. Spindler,
privilege.
which of the items would you like to speak on?
Point of personal privilege.
You don't
I
have
can
that
sign
one.
up as much as I
Okay.
want. You cannot
You
enforce a rule.
one
Mr.
person,
Spindler, this is your
one
first
sign-up.
warning. I've asked you multiple times which items you would like to
Okay,
speak on.
you're
So
fucking wrong.
you can either tell us which
If you do
items you
not
would like to
start-
speak on
That's
and
not legal.
continue with your public comment.
I'll go. I'll speak.
Okay.
But first,
Which items are you going to speak on?
you know, at least I'm not under
Okay, I'm going to ask you to leave if you're going to continue
All
to
right,
talk.
so-
Are you on general public
I
comment?
will call the
Okay,
all
1 minute for
items-
general public comment, and that's
all
it.
items in general comment.
Okay,
Is that
so
good?
the items open for
Yes,
public
tell
comment are 1 through 4
Yes.
and 31 through 43.
Getting
so you
spicy.
have 3 minutes for the items and
You've
1
wasted
minute
enough
for
of our
general
time.
public comment.
Go ahead and start.
Shit. My God, Bob. My God.
Peace, Bob.
Jeez, boy.
Speak to the items.
Now we get number 3. I mean, I came all this way on number 3 about the alcohol license for Tracy Irene Park. And you're going to take and do it. I have a coupon for Gelson's. And I'm going to admit this to the record that I'm going to give Tracy $5 off any bottle of wine, $25 or more. Let's give me a hit. Oh.
Speak to the items.
Yes. Yes, congratulations. Yes. So, can I get in here, sir? Yes, you. Yes, so. Oh, sorry about that, Bob. He's having a bad day. So now, let's see here. We have an alcohol license. Well, that's good, because I like to get fucked up. I know you like to get fucked up. I know Lee there, I know he enjoys getting fucked up. I think this is good. Take the edge off the beginning and the end of the day. Spend your time at home drinking in the morning, and, maybe
Speak to the items.
Yes, sir. How many alcohol licenses are there on this? More than one, so I'm speaking on the other one, too.
See that, Bob? I got you. I'm smarter than you.
You're not smarter than me. Yeah, I'm smarter than you, too, okay? So now, we will get into this issue. Alcohol licenses are good for the economy. I support them. More car crashes, more jobs fixing cars, more jobs for the insurance industry, more jobs for police officers to make those arrests, more jobs for the tow truck companies to tow away the cars, more jobs for the deputy DA and the ALADS investigators to investigate the domestic violence caused by the alcohol abuse. You see where I'm going, people? I'm not evil just because I have horns. Don't misunderstand me. I'm here to create jobs. Who told you that? That's a quote from Jose Weezer. And then, of course, we have these other horrible, filthy tax TEFRA items. Yes, that's right. TEFRA. And what you do is you get money from the federal government, you hold a fake hearing, and then you launder the money to private investors that build quote-unquote affordable housing. Then you file bankruptcy in a few years when nobody's looking, and you remove the covenants of affordability off each of the units. And then you default and sell it back to Wall Street, right? That's what we do here, people, yes.
BlackRock.
You cannot ever afford an apartment unless you're a prostitute, drug dealer, whore, or Nuri Martinez. Now I will go to my general.
You're a whore!
I have bad news, people. Yesterday was my holy day, Yom Yom Kippur. And what did Bob do? Kevin, you know what Bob did as us Jewish people were praying? He forced his non-Jewish employees to work in his office yesterday and take
holiest
phone
day of the
calls
year
rather than give them the day off. How can you be that way, Bob? How can you treat the Goyim so terribly? When there's Christmas, do you work on Christmas just because you don't celebrate it? For Christ's sakes, Bob. And I have the proof. I have the actual recordings of the time and date stamp. I can't believe you would do this. And I asked them, how come Bob didn't give you the day off? Well, we volunteered. No, they didn't, Bob. Who the fuck doesn't take a free paid day off? I'll do it anytime. And finally, everybody, Kevin De Leon for re-election. He has declared himself a candidate. Vote for Kevin De Leon.
Okay.
I say we keep him on the whole team, guys, because if we keep De Leon there, we're going to keep the fire.
Goat puppets, which I assume were just repeats. And then we have Mr. Greenspan.
Mr. Greenspan will be fun today. Who ate all the pussy?
And Cynthia Clemens. Heather Wilson. And if I've called your name.
Here he comes. Look, he's got a swastika on his back, too, now. He had the dick on his back. Now he's got, look at his shirt, guys. Look at his shirt and look at mine.
Welcome.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name that you signed up under and the items you would like to speak on.
Good morning. My name is May Harmon, and I'm speaking on number 23.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for
They love this when I wear this at the post office.
I'm talking about the 7-story building, 200 units
what?
that is being put in an R1 zone neighborhood. I'm just in disbelief that this is being considered and want to point out some issues to be considered. The location is right next to a special needs school and on a street that has no sidewalks, extremely limited parking. If cars happen to be parked on both sides, it goes down to one lane. There are many people that walk, their families, children, have to walk in the middle of the street to get by. If you have a car heading towards you, you have to pull over to let the other person go by. This is especially dangerous Friday nights where a community populated by many in the Jewish community walk to an adjacent synagogue. As I have been informed, the city tried to fast-track any project, supposedly affordable housing, and did this without any impact studies, notification to homeowners, and consideration that the congestion would have, not to mention the increased demand for water and sewage. I believe if anyone does these studies, were actually to come to the proposed location, they would clearly see that this would not work in any way, shape, or form. The orange line intersection
Speaker,
is
your
in
time has
Ethel.
expired, but if you could be so kind as to just remind us one more time of your name, I couldn't quite hear it.
May Harmon.
Thank you.
Well, they're saying because some of the
It's really
sidewalks are
dangerous.
packed,
That's the
Sean,
main
with
point. Very
homeless
dangerous.
encampments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a big problem here. That's why people have
Again,
to
folks,
walk in the street.
Come on up if I've called your name.
Parents with
If
kids
not,
in their
please wait for me to
strollers
call
taking
you.
them
Mike
home from
Greenspan,
elementary school have to walk in the
Anisha
street
Hayes,
thanks to the
Anthony
the
Edwards,
homeless
Cynthia
vultures.
Clemens, Heather Wilson.
Those pieces of
Jay,
shit that live on your sidewalk
Jennifer
in a tent.
Fay. Go ahead.
The ones that gave up
Good
on
morning.
life.
Which of the items would you like to speak on?
Mike Greenspan, items 1 through 4, 31 through 43, and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment.
Thanks again,
Please
Jason,
begin
for
with
the great
items.
puppet.
Okay.
I love
First
it.
of all, Happy New Year, you queer rabbis. I hope you suck more dick this next year. Now, this is a segue
Really quick.
to
Hold on, I'm
items
going to pause your
2
time.
and
Mr.
3.
I'm going to pause. Your time is paused. Mr. Spindler, you have been warned multiple times not to disrupt this meeting.
Uh-oh.
Do not disrupt this meeting. Do not disrupt public comment.
Uh-oh, he's
Nobody
mad.
else disrupted your public comment. So this is your second formal warning
Boulder
to
Head
not
is
disrupt
pissed.
this meeting. I'm sorry. Go
Swear
ahead.
to God, that's a
Okay.
boulder.
The thing about the queer rabbis sucking dick, it's a segue to items 2 and items 3. Because more liquor stores, it sucks a dick. That's the only description I could say. We don't have enough liquor stores in this town, enough liquor outlets. I didn't know we're a Baptist town and we're dry, or I didn't know we're the Mormons in Utah and we're dry. Boy, that's news to me. The problem with the liquor, the late John Walsh used to say, we're the hit and run capital of the world. And there's a correlation. With easy access to liquor, people liquor up and then put the keys in the ignition and drive off. Bam! Another crash. Hey, well, that's more work for the officers. Why, they'll even do it on overtime.
Those
so
idiots
you'll
with
be
their
paying them
puppets.
at time and a half instead of straight time. It's a great racket. More work for the DAs and everything else. They don't have enough work to do. So let's legalize liquor everywhere we can, and we'll be able to live up to our hit and run capital of the world. Yes, folks, the idea sucks a dick. I just can't say enough about it. Now, let's look at some of these other things, the waste of the money. Let's go to number 1. Oh, boy. Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act. Now, if we're going to be buying stuff in Council District 10, isn't there an apartment complex where the city already owns and the maintenance office is never open and sewage is running out of the tap water and everything else? Don't we need more of those? Yes, let's go buy some more things. Government can't do things right. They're a fuck up. And speaking of street lights, yes, you folks with those districts, suckers. Let me tell you, I live in North Hollywood. Go to Lancashire and Sherman. It's the darkest place. Under the railroad, the underpass under the railroad, not one light works. On both sides of the street on Lancashire, nothing's working. Man, what a place to do drug deals. You do them in the dark. That's the only way I could figure it out. You do them in the dark. What a great place to go mug people, rape people, and everything else, because
Hey,
they
relax
aren't
with that
taking
shit,
care of the
Brad
street
Hunt.
lights we have, so let's have more. And about this liquor and everything else, one of these Tuesdays, I'm going to come back here and tell you folks about going to Young Life in Orange Park, Florida. It's just an excuse to get out of the house and go buy liquor illegally. That's what it was.
General public comment.
Okay. Now, Mr. De Leon's going to be running for re-election. And he actually did something right. What did he do?
What did he do?
Well, there's this caseworker, Armando Herman, unpaid caseworker.
Herman?
And his friend, Anthony Garcia, needed a place to stay. And so Mr. Herman called up Mayor Grandstand's office, Karen Bass, and spoke to a guy named Eduardo about getting vouchers. And what did Eduardo do? He jerked his dick. That's all Eduardo can do. I got an idea. Why don't they move Eduardo into that district? He can carpetbag in, live over there next to Anthony, and run for office. Then the district has a right to either elect De Leon, who's done the job, or Eduardo, who jerks his dick. But that's a decision for District 14, not for any of us. So if you want someone who jerks his dick, get Eduardo. And if you want someone who does the job, get De Leon. Real simple.
Okay.
Dick jerkers.
Next speaker.
Shout out to all the dick jerkers out there. We need De Leon back on just because it'll keep the spice. If we get rid of De Leon, a lot of the spice is gone.
Please remind us of the name that you signed up under and the items you would like to speak on.
Thank you. Good morning, City Council. I live in District 1. My name is Heather Wilson.
Which items would you like to speak on?
Public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you. You may have received a letter from the tribal president, Rudy Ortega, and I'm going to respectfully request that you disregard this letter because it was written with outdated information.
It won't, Zod.
This rodeo ordinance is currently being amended and updated. We had a productive meeting last night with the Los Angeles Equine Advisory Committee.
His fitted
and they
hat
were
size
very
is a
open
9.
to the amendments that we will be making to the ordinance. So please keep that in mind when you read this letter. Near Calgary in Canada, just a couple months ago, Seth Salto, age 19, of the Ermineskin Cree Nation, was vying for a spot at the Indian National Finals Rodeo, and he was killed riding a bull. So Indians are also killed in these horrific events that are brutal and violent and outdated. Just like this letter. This letter from Rudy Ortega is based on outdated information. Please disregard it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Snapback, Ruben? Ruben, he probably has to wear the snapback completely open. Like he can't snap it at all.
Good morning, City Council. Jennifer Fay, General Public Comment.
Good morning. So you have 1 minute for general public comment.
I work for the Park Film Office as a park activity film monitor. We are liaisons between the public and film companies as site reps for rec and parks. We need your help. We're required to be on call 7 days a week, yet we are part-time only. Currently, we are only working a maximum of 10 hours a week. How are we expected to feed our families on $880 a month? We need your help. We only make $22 an hour when the film industry standard is $38 an hour. We need your help. We are required to use our own personal vehicle to travel to over 550 locations, yet we don't get mileage. We need your help.
You need to get a new job.
Overtime when working more than 8 hours in a shift. Quite often, we work 12 hours at a time, yet we don't get paid any overtime. I implore you, we need your help. Thank you.
I implore you to look for a new job.
Okay, I'll read some additional
You're
names.
not getting $38 an hour to sit at a park.
Lindy Green.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at you.
Again, Melanie
Nobody's
Shaw,
worth $38 an hour to sit on their
Casanova.
ass at a park. Sorry. I'm not even mad at. I'm not even
Any of
caring
those
if
names,
it's
please
offend
come
you.
on forward if you've
Oh,
heard
well.
your name called. John Parker, Megan Parsons, Lindy Green, Melanie
38
Shaw,
an hour.
Natty
She's insinuating, right? Well, they get 38. Why don't we get 38?
Welcome.
We only get 22.
Please remind us of the name
To
that
do
you signed up
nothing,
under
sit
and
at
the
a park.
items you would like to speak on.
Got it. I'm Megan Parsons, and I'm here for general public comment about 23. I'm
Okay.
sorry I don't have a puppet.
So you have 1
You
minute
are
for
a
general
puppet.
public comment.
Thank you.
You don't need
I
a
live in
puppet
small
'cause you
part
are a
neighborhood of
puppet.
single-family
Sure of it.
homes, and as you know, developers using this loophole to build this massive 7-story building in a lot that's supposed to be used for single-family homes. And our area doesn't have the infrastructure to handle that. Everyone has said this. We have tiny streets, no sidewalks, kids bike and play in the street, and you're adding 400 new cars to drive down these streets where it's just incredibly dangerous and we can't handle this influx of people and cars. We're just very disappointed that you're allowing this greedy developer to use an edict that was supposed to help poor people to line their own pockets. The proposal is going to ruin our neighborhood, endanger our children, and I just wanted to go on record saying we're devastated and we're super disappointed by your decision. That's all.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name that
Good
you signed
morning.
up under and the items you would like to speak on.
And good morning to you. My name is Lindy Green, and I'm here in support of Councilmember Blumenfield's proposed rodeo ordinance for public comment.
I don't see
should I go
Pickle
ahead?
Dick right now.
Yes, so you have 1 minute.
Doesn't mean he ain't
Okay,
there.
thank you so much. The Los Angeles Animal Services Commissioners endorse a full rodeo ban. They've reviewed their support for this legislation as it was originally requested in 2019, and a former commissioner has stated, "We are Los Angeles Animal Services, not just Los Angeles Dog and Cat Services. We're asking you to please have compassion for all animals and support this rodeo ordinance." Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Smoking air? Yes, I'm
Call for your
smoking
name,
air.
Please come on up.
What's up, Jizza? Yeah, it started off pretty good. Started off crazy, so
Good
you might
morning.
want to
If you could
rewind
please
it. It's a
remind us
decent
of
show
the name
today.
that you signed up under and the items you would like
It's
to
been a
speak
little
on.
wild.
Good morning. My name is Sandra Bell. I'm doing public comment for in favor of the ordinance by Blumenfield against rodeos.
So you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Okay.
You notice her
Animal
time's been running the whole
advocacy
time?
is huge in
You
our
notice that?
city.
Look at her time.
There is a
She's
long
already at
list
40
of
seconds.
caring organizations backing this ordinance, and voters will be watching it very closely. Previous speakers have submitted overwhelming evidence as to how rodeos are cruel, violent, and deadly.
Oh, they
I'm sure you
restarted
would
it
have
for her.
to
What a
agree that
dick.
not
Look, did you see
one
that?
animal is having a good time at a
Did
rodeo.
you see it? They're
not
listening
one.
to me.
According to a November 2022 Los Angeles survey of a random sample of 600 registered voters, the majority care about the welfare of animals and do not
Thanks,
want to see them
BCG.
abused or
I don't
killed.
miss Twitter.
Los Angeles has been leading
I like not
example
being
for
on
an
it.
entire country in numerous humane issues. We must continue our efforts to create a better Los Angeles, a city which does not welcome or tolerate the blood sport of rodeos. Thank you.
The blood sport of rodeos.
Thank you. Next speaker.
So now you speak for the whole city, huh? We as the city don't like it.
Garden Grove in Orange County.
Commie,
and I'm here
sit down.
to speak on public
Tell me what the
comment in
fuck I
support of the
like.
rodeo ordinance.
So you have 1 minute for general public
I don't even like rodeos,
On
but I like
August
them
3rd
now
through the
because you
5th,
don't like
Extreme
them.
Rodeo was at the Orange County Fairgrounds in Costa Mesa. I was outside the side gate of the Action Sports Arena. From my view, I could see the bulls and horses in the back pens. They were having a bull riding competition for children 7 to 11 years of age. I could see the handler jump on top of the back pens. He was kicking and hitting the bulls with a broom to get them to move into the bucking chute. A spectator posted a video of a bull bucking and falling on his leg, causing it to break. His leg was dangling while he was still somewhat bucking and running. They roped the bull's neck and pulled and tugged at his body with no awareness or care for his broken leg and the pain he was enduring. He will now be put to death. They treat rodeo animals as entertainment objects, not breathing, feeling beings. Costa Mesa Mayor John Stevens took immediate action to decide not to bring back the extreme rodeo next year. Please join his compassion and ban animal cruelty in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Nobody's going to be cruel to my spanking.
Thank you. Next speaker.
How do you kick with a broom? I don't know, Jennifer, but she figured it out. Oh, my Latinx lady.
Good morning. Which of the items would you like to speak on?
First generation.
I'm Nati Casanova. I live in CD14, and I would like to speak in support of Councilmember Blumenfield's proposed rodeo ordinance.
So you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So I just want to remind the LA City Council that historically you have voted on animal rights and animal welfare issues progressively. For everybody present, you unanimously voted to prohibit declawing and delocalizing animals as a requirement by landlords. For tenants with pets, exotic animals in circuses ban, unanimous vote for those present. Bullhook ban, unanimous vote for those present. Purchasing cruelty-free products, unanimous vote for those present. Many more. You already know what's right. Rodeos are violent. More and more people are becoming aware of that. And please listen to your constituents and ban rodeos. Full ban. Thank you so much.
Surprised she didn't say that she was the first generation Latinx, like she does every other time. Shit, yeah, is this the? Oh no, that's not her. I thought it was the chick that gets raped in her sleep by Obama and the LAPD, but I don't think that's her.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name that you signed up under and the items you would like to speak on.
J. Richardson, General Public Comments.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment.
About 3 years ago, City Council approved repair of sidewalks, roads. Since that time, many of these cracks in the roads and sidewalks have reappeared. Some people, they did a good job in repairing. Some people suggest that the cracks reach from your horseshoe here to the back of the building, and the more expert people say that those cracks go over 10 miles down. So that's something to think about. In other words, the cracks that are being repaired right now will reappear because they are so low, over 10 miles and more downward from the ground. Down. If you can get better comments than what I have right now from LA County Sheriff and also LAPD Police Department at the headquarters. They know a little bit more than I do of where these cracks are appearing and how they keep reappearing.
Remember, the cracks aren't going up, at least. At least you don't have to look up and see the cracks. All you have to do is look down and see the
We
cracks.
still have Lindy Green, Melanie Shaw, Rafi Pashayan, Steve Lang, and X.
And X.
Anyone with
You're
those
not
names,
giving crack away
please
today.
come forward.
What time is it?
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name that you signed up under and the items you would like to speak on.
The free
Yes, John
crack
Parker,
giveaway.
Coordinator of the Harriet Tubman Center for Social Justice, and this is general comment.
Okay, so you have general public comment.
Who's X? I don't know.
Should I go now?
1 minute for general public
Someone
comment.
signed up as
Yesterday, the County Federation of Labor passed the resolution to demand the U.S. be taken off the state sponsors of terrorism list. Now, you all have a chance of joining labor and the numerous cities, including Washington and New York, before the bill in Washington attempts to makes this designation permanent, and would also mean that we would no longer be able to get the health care that we need that Cuba could provide because of that designation. So it's up to you to stand with labor and stand with especially the black community that's suffering this lack of health care and be the first one to be there and really show what you can do and the kind of support that you would have from the community and from labor. Put this resolution on. You've seen it before. Put it on right now. 2/3 of the folks, and you can get it on the agenda. Get it on the agenda.
Yeah, man, that's crazy today. You got cracks. You got Mr. X. Is this X? Is this Mr. X? Or X?
Good morning.
Good
Elon?
morning. If you could please remind us of the name that you signed up under and the items you would like to speak on.
The name is Steve Lang. The item is number 23. I'd like to speak in general public comment about this.
So you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you. The crux of the matter seems to be two things, even though no one's listening over there. The mayor and the city made a mistake when they allowed a high 7-story building to be allowed on Ethel Avenue. They realized their mistake. They changed the law so that you can't have that kind of impact in an R1 district. The builder said, I had submitted all my forms to get this approved. The Department of City Planning said you were incomplete, so you are not allowed to build. The builder said, I'm going to appeal. That's what was being voted on this morning. Why did the Department of City Planning say it's incomplete? What's their profit motive? None. There's something fishy because they said it was incomplete, it's a technicality, and even if it was complete, the mayor and the city recognize that this is a project that's completely unacceptable and inappropriate for our neighborhood. There's no way this guy needs to be grandfathered in. This is ridiculous.
Is this Mr. X? I want to know who X is now. It's just X. It ain't
Good morning.
Mr.
If you could please remind us of the name that you signed up under and the items you would like to speak on.
X-Men.
Rafi Pashalian, public general comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment.
So the city attorney is here, obviously, and we practice safety on a daily basis. That's what we all try to fight. So we're all a bunch of the neighbors are here, and we're trying to figure out why this 7-story building got approved, and the sheer fact that it's not safe to have 700 people living in a 40,000 square foot vicinity. There's on a one-way road. So we just want to let you guys know that we're serious, and we want to have you guys reconsider this. Thank you.
I'm sure they'll reconsider nothing.
Seeing no additional speaker, I've called all the names.
What about X? Who is X?
That, people signed up for.
I want to know who X was.
So we will close in-person public comment and move to virtual public comment. If you could open the phone lines and read the instructions, please.
First speaker, what items would you like to speak on?
Thank you. It's Eric Previn from Studio City.
Eric Previn.
I'm prepared to speak on the available items as well as the general public.
Turn Eric
So,
up.
Mr. Previn, if you could speak up just a little bit, I can hear you, but it's a little bit hard to hear. So the items that are open for public comment are 1 through 4 and 31 through 43. So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items first.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, I think liquor licenses, are part of what cities do. So we have to be respectful of the fact that everybody wants to make it a little easier. And Gelson's is certainly a trusted brand. It is on the upper scale of things, to be fair. They do a very, very nice job with the fresh produce, which astronomically priced, some of it, to be fair. But they always have things that are fresh and good. And the meat is excellent as well. If you're having, for example, Blumenfield,
Gelson's is
maybe
nice.
Get brisket for the high
Expensive.
holidays. I did. Jesus, they really do a very, very good job. It's at the same level as it's one of the best places. The butcher shop is one of the best in. No disrespect, by the way, to the rodeo people, because I also think that rodeos should not be conducted in apartment buildings in Los Angeles. That's absurd. But getting back to Gelson's and the liquor license, thank you for doing this. Gelson's also has a component that's very, very important, which is the Victor Bennis Bakery. As some of you know, you can get as I once wrote, a probably fresh cookie from the facility, and you can sit outdoors and sort of enjoy the afternoon in the one in Studio City. They have them all over. Very nice. It's upscale. You get a good coffee. And, it's not a bad spot to maybe gather a signature or two, Mr. Martinez, Hugo. You guys know, organizers, it's nice to get people where they are, and you can walk up to somebody in the atrium area and get hey, how are you? Running for office. I was curious if you'd like to show your petition, go through the process, which is great. But then Gelson's takes offense. Gelson's is like, whoa, buddy, what are you doing? And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's Eric Previn. I'm the guy from Studio City Neighborhood Council. I like to get signatures. I'm sure Cigar Bollinger is listening carefully. They put up a sign that says, this guy can't be here. Right in front of you. I'm like, sir, do you know who I am? And then, I had to, of course, I battled them and they agreed. But that's only because on the day that I was there, and you'll find this amusing, I wrote about it. There was a crime. A man walked out of the Gelson's loaded up with groceries. The security guy was behind him, but a good Samaritan came charging across the parking lot, a 70-year-old lunatic, and tackled the guy. It was very surprising. I was standing there with my signatures. So,
Uh-oh. What happened?
Mr. Previn, are you still there?
Hello? Hello? You're telling us this harrowing story.
Next speaker, what items would you like to speak on?
Now I don't get to find out what happened. Damn it! I wanted to find out what happened in there. Now we'll never know.
Yes, this is Jason. I'm a Focus Scan viewer, and one of you motherfuckers in here know who ate all the pussy.
So which of the items would you like to speak on?
I just need a minute of your time, then, brother, if you would, please.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you said. Did you say general public comment?
Yes, sir, if you would, please, kind sir.
Yes, so you have 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin.
Thank you.
Good Jason. Hello? What happened?
Caller, are you still there? Please go ahead with general public
Yes, sir.
comment.
Oh, my bad. Oh, yes. So I just want to take a moment to thank my man Smoking Scan for everything he does for the good people there online, whether it's YouTube or Twitch or however you get it with the brother. He's doing the Lord's work in spite of, what you guys are doing in here. And I think some of y'all need a little help. Some of y'all could, maybe spend a night down on Figueroa, get your little tug or, pull or push, whatever, however you like it there, brother. And maybe we can smooth this thing out a little bit. We can smooth it on out. I guess tonight we're not getting show, but tomorrow night we'll be in. We get a fresh bag of that smoke up, and maybe we'll get a couple DUIs, or we can do some stabs and dabs. And in any event, y'all have a good weekend there.
Shout out to Jason. Jason.
Next caller.
Some stabs.
Next caller,
stabs.
what items would you like to speak on?
Shout out to you, Jason. Thank you for the call in.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Which of the items would you like to speak on?
It's going to be general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin.
Thank you. Hi, City Council.
Who is this?
It looks like none of you council members have the word focus on your vocabulary, because you guys are all standing around chit-chatting like you guys don't care about us, and we elected you as a public servant to serve the people, and this is our tax dollars, and we pay your salary. And Councilmember Kern Price, what a dirty, filthy sinner. I wish that you council people can introduce a motion to suspend Councilmember Kern Price, but you guys care. You guys.
Dang it.
You guys.
Man, fire the sound,
Kern
dude.
Price.
So, caller, your time has expired.
Caller, we couldn't hear you anyways. We're not even going to tell you.
Next speaker, what items would you like to speak
This is
on?
wrong as hell. They didn't even tell them that they had technical difficulties and shit. Motherfuckers.
We seem to be experimenting some technological.
So the items that are open for public comment are 1 through 4 and 31 through 43. So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment.
Yeah, it's mean for
Please
them to
begin
do
with
that.
the items.
Come on. They should say, hold on a second, let's fix the phone and then go on.
Alcohol. I think the more alcohol, the better. It loosens people up.
Lobster.
Great time. They're opening a restaurant. They are applying for a liquor license. I can't wait for them to get their liquor license to make more money. And Stacey Bollinger is running for city council. Vote for Stacey Bollinger because she's a lady. Whoa, 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 she's a lady. Also, the Costa Mesa guy that wants the bullfighting and all these little ladies that are sitting in their one-bedroom apartments watching their 1998 Toshiba televisions, watching YouTube
caller,
bulls getting hurt.
98
lobsters. What about the lobsters? Lobsters.
Caller, I can't tell which of the item you're speaking on. So can you please identify which of the items you're speaking on, or I'm going to move you to general public comment.
Stop killing lobsters. Rodeo people, I want to change the name of Rodeo Drive.
All right, so the rodeo issue is not, or the rodeo ordinance is not on the agenda, so I'm going to move you to general public comment. You have 1 minute.
I appreciate the way you're talking to me, guys. You need to realize lobsters 5,000 to 1. Oh my God! Stop killing lobsters and change the name of Rodeo Drive to Lobster Lane. And you know what? Vote for Stacey Bollinger.
Is she really running for fucking city council? She probably is. And if that
Caller, are
point,
you
I
still
might as
there?
well do
If
it.
so,
I'll get
please
more
speak
votes
up.
than
If
she
not,
would.
We're going to move on to the next caller.
I know I would.
I'll be here. Smoke and scan rules. Stink is the best. I love fucking everybody on this station. And you know what? Quit killing lobsters. I'm serious. You guys are absolutely worse than the fucking Turkic against the Armenians. You guys stop killing lobsters and don't worry about.
Yeah, man. Everybody. See, smoking scant family's deep.
So, caller, your time has expired.
This is legend. That's sure. Look at this thing.
Next speaker, what items
Like
would you
a
like to
big
speak
baby
on?
over there. Look at him. Curled up like a baby.
Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Can you
we
hear
can
me?
hear you. Which of the items would you like to speak on?
Okay. I would like to speak on a general public comment on item 23 with special attention to Nithya Raman.
So, item number 23 is not open for public comment, but you can speak to it during your 1 minute of general. So, you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Okay. About 1% of Los Angeles is homeless, and housing is exorbitantly expensive because it's scarce. So directly or indirectly, any new unit occupied
Pickle
by a
Dick
person
with his
takes
mask.
at least one person off the street. And if you don't build that unit or you delay it, then somebody has to stay on the street. So whatever the merits are of preventing or denying any unit in the development on 5111 Ethel, you're talking about somebody living on the street who otherwise, who otherwise wouldn't be, and that's morally wrong. So please, let's compare that to whatever the neighborhood characteristics are. Also, I had a son who went to the special needs school over there. It would have had no effect on him. This is an irrelevant point. So please support the development at the maximum possible capacity ASAP. Thank you.
ASAP. What's up, Jerry?
Next caller.
Next caller, what items would you like to speak on?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
No.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Which of the items would you like to
hi.
speak on?
Yeah, hi, Daniel Gus, Substack.com, general public comment only.
So you have 1 minute for general public
Gus,
comment.
this guy.
Great, hi, for identification purposes, danielgus.substack.com, where I have an exclusive story about the LA County District Attorney, as I had predicted for a long time now.
Plug.
LA Animal Services for criminal, incessant, and severe animal cruelty and financial impropriety, where Paul Koretz reallocated more than $1 million in donated funds for things that should have been paid for by the budget. Also, I believe the Public Integrity Division is exploring why Commissioner President Larry Gross has used multiple clandestine emails from his employment at the Coalition for Economic Survival to dodge public records requests. You should investigate this on your own. As I have told you for a long time, the LA County District Attorney is investigating your LA Animal Services. Mr. Krikorian, you may want to consider reassigning Ms. Hernandez, who apparently has COVID now.
Mr. Gus, your time has
to
expired.
somebody who actually can handle.
Next speaker, what
Next
items would you like to
speaker.
speak on?
Sound like he was laughing.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Which of the
Hi,
items?
my name is Jason. My name is Jason Enright. I'd like to make general public comment regarding
so-
item 23.
So you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Hi. I understand that the community has concerns about this building being put up, but we are in a terrible housing crisis. I used to live in that neighborhood. I got priced out of that neighborhood like so many people do. Sidewalks can be built, parking can be figured out, but we need every single unit of housing possible to get us out of this crisis. Everyone loves the idea of affordable housing until it's being built in their backyard. And I understand these people's concerns, but we can address them. We need to start building buildings. So thank you, and thank you for considering this motion. We really desperately need this building. Thank you.
I don't mind when people plug me on the
Next
on the
speaker,
show. Sure, go
what
ahead.
items
Say all
would
you
you like
want.
to speak on?
Plugs away. Look, even if you talk bad about me, I don't
Speaker,
care.
the
And I
last
get
four
what you're
digits,
getting at. I see what you're
2988.
saying.
Please
but
press star 6 to unmute yourself.
I'm telling you, without trying to be funny like you were.
So caller,
They
with
can
the
talk
last
about
four
me. They
digits,
can get mad at me. They can
2988.
call me whatever
This
they
is your
want.
last opportunity to speak.
But you're still talking
Please
about
unmute
me.
yourself and let us know which of the items you would like to speak on.
You ain't nobody talking about you. You ain't doing nothing.
Okay, so caller, we can't hear you, so unfortunately we're going to have to move on to the next caller. Next caller?
But I get your lame joke, but yes.
Next caller. What items would you like to speak
To
on?
go back to the original point. Yes.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to speak in general public comment in support of item 23.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you. So I'm calling today in support of the appeal for the Ethel Affordable Housing Project in Sherman Oaks. This is a desperately needed 200-unit affordable housing project in a well-resourced neighborhood within walking distance to a major transit stop. This is a perfect place for housing. This project is being proposed and built without any subsidies from local government, and this is the exact kind of project that we need to resolve our homelessness crisis here in the county of Los Angeles. So please support the appeal and support these 200 units of desperately needed affordable housing. Thank you.
They don't need to design buildings or houses or any of this shit. Okay? It's really simple. They got plenty of government land. Buy a bunch of brand new 2023 trailers, 20 grand a pop.
Next caller.
For me,
What items
when
would you
you're
like to
buying
speak on?
100,000 or 200,000 of them, I'm pretty sure they'll give them to you at half cost or 3/4 of the cost. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So you're
good morning.
saving 30% per
1881.
trailer.
All items in public comment.
Oh, 50 guns.
So the items open
That's
for
50
public
guns.
comment are 1 through 4
Hi, Catherine.
and 31 through 43. So
Sounds
you have
like
3
you.
minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items first.
Yes, the lady who came before you asking for help, I believe she works for the film industry.
That's him.
I support you, and hopefully the council will do something. You know what? Let's just move on to public comment. May we move on to
So you
public
have,
comment?
you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you, sir. You know, I took a lot of criticism for changing my mind as far as the rodeo.
That's right, Mike.
But facts are facts, and things need to be made differently with the rodeos. But there again, you folks are going to ban it. What really upsets me is when I have to go to a restaurant and these animal lovers who bring their animals, and I have to go to whatever restaurant it is, and I have to watch them while their dogs are cleaning themselves. I have to be there and watch them as their dogs pass gas. You know what's cruel and unusual part of Mr. Fun is when they feed their dog and then their dog throws up. And you know what? That's cruel. That's cruel. So, folks, especially the one woman who threatened politicians if they don't agree with her on the bull riding, the rodeos, she threatened that you guys would all lose. You know what? Sometimes you folks, you so-called animal lovers, are meaner and tougher than anybody else I've ever met. And to Mr. Rodriguez, you know what? If you're bored over there, stop going to the corner. There's plenty of
caller, your time has
things
expired.
that you can read in
I hope I dropped the line about dog farts in the restaurant. Hey, I can't lie, bro. He's right. Dog farts are fucking deadly, bro. I told you about Eggly, the dog
All right, that
Eggly.
concludes public comment.
Bro, he'd
for
just
this
be
meeting, both
fucking
in person
shooting
and
thunderbolts all day.
electronically. Madam Clerk, what items are available for the
All the
council
thunder
to vote
bolting
on?
out of his butthole with that stank.
Mr. President, council may now vote on items 2 through
Dogs
4,
do pass gas. I don't miss that.
31 through 38, 40
Fool's been
through
sitting there dining and had to
42,
smell a
and
Chihuahua
I believe
fart.
there's a motion for item 42. Is that correct?
She don't even know what you're talking about.
Mr. Lee?
Just for item
Mr.
number
Lee.
42 to note and file that since the application was withdrawn.
Is there a second to this motion?
Second. Ms. Park?
Third.
Thank you. So that's 2 through 4, 31 through 38,
First
and
caller,
40
which items
through
would you like to
42,
speak on?
sir.
All right, open the roll. Close
Wait,
the
when did he
roll.
get in there? You just snuck in.
Tabulate
He was
the
out back
votes.
smoking a joint.
13 eyes.
All right, what's next?
Next is item 1, and that was called special for a recusal. So
You're all
just a moment,
special
sir.
here.
All right, we'll give Mr. Price time to exit the floor. In
Feed
as
your
much
dog
as he has
Beano.
exited and is recused, we can open the
Does
roll
that
on
stuff
item
really
number
work,
1.
Beano? I'm guessing it does.
Close
They've
the
been selling
roll.
it for a while. Never
Tabulate
used
the
it
vote.
myself. I figure
12
why not?
eyes.
Why not be
All right.
all natural?
What's next?
Next would be items 7, 9, and 11, and that was called special for a separate vote, sir.
All right, 7, 9, and 11 were called special for a separate
No
vote. We want to
gas.
give Mr. Price time to come
Beano
back.
works, Alice.
There he is. All right. 7, 9, and 11. Any comments, Mr. Soto Martinez? No comments?
It
All right,
is
open the
shoulder.
roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
If you've been watching this the whole way, then you definitely
12
know.
eyes, 1 no.
All right, that takes us to item number 23. Miss Rahman, are you going to make comments on this item?
I was going to let
Miss
speak last,
Rahman.
if that's okay.
Okay.
Is it ramen or
Mr.
Rahman,
Blumenfield.
right? You notice that? It's Rahman, it's
On this item, I'm
ramen.
going to make a motion to.
They don't know how to
deny the
pronounce
appeal.
her name.
And I want to explain.
She's only been sitting
my
there for a few
position
years
on
now.
this.
Is it ramen or
Um,
Rahman? Why? What? Which one is it?
And I want to bring planning.
I'm
to the
surprised
table
she
as
ain't
well, but-
corrected
but
them by
this
then.
it's not a one-off. This is not about a particular project. I have great respect for all of my colleagues and for Ms. Rahman, whose district this particular project
See?
is in.
Notice
And
how
what
he
I'm
called her
worried about
ramen?
Is precedent.
The other guy called her Rahman?
I want to
Don't make me
explain
rewind
what
it.
happened in, as I understand it, have the planning department confirm that this is how it is. The mayor put forward Executive Directive 1.
So who's wrong?
Which was to streamline the process for affordable housing. Something really important, something I support. But in
true,
doing
Shell.
that,
Nobody cares.
inadvertently,
It gives a
it
fuck.
included
She
single-family
doesn't.
R1 areas. And it wasn't intended to do that. As soon as the mayor's office and the administration figured that out, they pulled it back immediately, and they changed it. And they made
Out
it
of
appropriate
respect,
so
you'd
that it
figure
would
they'd call
not
her by her
impact
name properly.
Single-family,
But I guess not.
low-density residential R1 units. Unfortunately, though, there were a couple of opportunistic folks who figured out that problem before it was noted by the city, and they quickly filed for several projects.
Who's dying in there?
The majority,
Can you hear
5
him
of
coughing?
those projects, are in my district.
Bro, somebody's
One of
dead
those
in there.
projects is before us today. When I'm talking today, it is not about the merits of that project. If my colleague and others want to pursue that project through the normal process, that's great. This is about whether or not ED1
That's it, people
would apply
watching.
to those projects.
They all are.
simply
That's
because
why they won't
got
do
in
anything
before
about De
the
Leon.
mistake was
They're all
figured out.
scared of him. He's the alpha.
And I don't think that's
he
the
really
right way
is.
to do things. If we have a
He'll
ci- as a
smack
city
any of these
send
people,
somebody a
him
refund check
and
that's
all of
supposed
them
to
in
get
their
$20
face.
And we accidentally send
Whap.
them $20 million. They don't get to cash that and walk
I'd be
away
willing
with
to put
it.
my money on
They
that.
still, that is still owned.
He'd smack
by
them
the
all
city.
up.
And
That's
we
why
would
they
go
don't do
back.
anything
This is
about
the
him.
same kind of thing. This was
They're scared of him.
not the intent. So when this came forward to planning,
They want him to just
they
go
said,
away.
Whoa, this
And
project
he ain't going to
is
do
not-
that.
This is not complete, and they did not approve and move forward on this project. It then went to Planning and Land Use Committee, where we heard arguments, and I wasn't on the committee. They heard arguments saying, "Well, they did all the right paperwork. We should
He
just
knows
let
where the
them do it."
bodies are buried.
And they moved forward with that. So what comes before us today is granting an appeal.
He knows
which
how
would
much
allow
they've embezzled.
Which would allow this particular project, but sets the precedent for all of these projects. Because as I've talked to the city attorney,
Bro,
I've
what
had
are you
them come
doing,
forward,
man?
You can't
What
pick
are you
and
doing,
choose.
bro?
This is one
You're
precedent.
making
We're gonna
everybody
decide
horny
how this
by
moves
shaking
forward,
your bottom.
one way or the other today. It's not about this project. It's about all the projects.
What are you doing, bro?
And I can't go back
That
to
is
my
called all the
constituents with
girls
5 different
very
projects
hot.
pending in single-family neighborhoods and say to them, someone who lives on a cul-de-sac or wherever they live, that they're going to have a 7-story building right next door to them for no fault of their own.
Let's see.
Not because the
Sheriff
city
deputy arrested.
put something
Inland
forward that
Empire
shouldn't have been
deputy
put
with
forward. And it
alleged
didn't go
ties
through the
to
regular
a
process.
Mexican
They're gonna
cartel is
claim
charged
the
with
developers
possession of
claiming that they're vested.
104
We as a body, we
pounds
never approved
of fentanyl.
anyone. This was
He had
not
104
a land use
pounds of
policy that
fentanyl in
we
his possession.
as a body
Sheriff
approved.
deputy.
This was a emergency powers that the mayor had. Impressive. So, where they were able to approve something to get it done
Sorry.
quickly. But when you do something quickly,
104
sometimes mistakes
pounds,
are
bro?
made. And we have to be
Oh, it's
prepared
personal
to
use.
deal with those mistakes because
I like the Finny.
otherwise we're going to, the consequences,
That's
the
what he's gonna
damage of
say.
those mistakes is going to be
Inland
all of those
Empire,
folks-
Robin.
All of those folks who can't
Just says
necessarily
the IE,
speak for themselves,
Inland Empire
who
Sheriff
live
Department.
next door, who
I
their
just
property
because
value
I
can
thought
be
it was a
cut in
police
half, they
chase.
have a big shadow
Because
over
it
their
just,
place.
it says
all the rest.
it's popping up on
when
my
that
phone,
was not
and I got to
the
keep an eye on the
intent
phone.
of
You
ED1.
know what I mean? So,
And
just the
planning
news
is here, and I want them to clarify
just
this.
came up,
so
just
the
hit up
attorney
right
can
now.
clarify this,
1 minute ago.
that was not the intent, and maybe we'll start with that to ask planning. What was the intent? Was that the intent of ED1? I guess that.
Yeah, it just says here, Riverside County Sheriff Correctional Deputy was alleged ties to the Mexican drug cartel, was charged with drug trafficking and possession of over 104 pounds of fentanyl, according to prosecutors. Jorge Alberto Orguera Rocha, Jesus Christ, he's got 4 names, 25 of Banning, was charged in a state court after federal prosecutors declined last week to seek an indictment against him, resulting in his flash release from jail and immediate rearrest. Along with the transportation count, Rocha is charged with possession of controlled substance for sale, along with the sentence enhancing alleged allegations of perpetuating drug-related offense while armed. He pleaded not guilty during an arraignment before a Riverside County Superior Court this morning. I guess he'll be back in court on Halloween, funny enough as it is. The defendant, or I guess the next thing is, the next trial date is court. It is Halloween. The defendant is being held on $5 million bail. Jesus. Sheesh. So what is that? You got to give up $500,000 just and get nothing back? Just to get out? That's nothing for the cartels, though. If he really is a cartel dude,
Committee
like
hearing.
linked to them.
We
But don't you think that
explained-
if he really is linked to them and he got 104 pounds taken, that he's dead anyways? Because if they let him out and he's out, don't you think they gonna think he's gonna snitch on him to get away from it all? So they'll probably kill him. Not to mention, how's he gonna pay for 104 pounds of fentanyl that he's got to pay for now that he lost? I don't know, man.
The authority
I don't know,
arises
man.
from the city charter.
I think he's
and
dead either way.
administrative code,
I think at that point you
rather
might
than
want to
Title
stay in
VII
jail,
and
bro.
standards,
That's the only
policies, and
way you're going to stay
procedures
alive
adopted under
for the
municipal
moment.
code provision
And they'll kill
or
you in
Title
there
VII
too.
of the government code. So what that
But, I
basically
think it'll be a
means
longer
is that
death.
based on the department's
Longer life,
recommendation, the department stated that the ED1 emergency directive is not.
I think it's time to re-dye those roots.
A standard policy or procedure under which a project could be vested.
I think it's time to dye those roots.
It is not. So based on the department's
What's up,
recommendation
Callie?
report to Plum,
Callie, boy.
the department stated that it is not
He'll Epstein
ED1,
himself.
an emergency order, is not subject to vesting.
Get it, alien?
Because it
Get
is.
it.
It derives from the city charter. It does not
I'll load up
derive
one right
from
now.
Title VII, which includes the zoning code. So that's the standards, policies, and procedures, rules, and regulations under which a project can vest.
So to support the department's position on this, what the council would need to do is to deny the appeal. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. McCosker.
Saw him
Thank
yesterday
you
on the
very much.
news.
So just to be clear,
There was a plane crash in his
I was going
district.
to just ask about the vesting rule. It would be
In
my
San
belief
Pedro,
and
this
opinion
dude.
that an executive directive is not something ever that a person could rely upon, that any entity could rely upon for a vesting right. Now, again, not an ordinance, not a policy, not a rule that could create a
NPC?
vesting. Is that what I just heard?
That's correct.
Now, does that mean that the logical conclusion is that the appeal cannot be granted? Or does that mean on a case-by-case basis, such an appeal could be granted? In other words, I would be of the mind that because of what you said, that as each case comes forward, they're going to be evaluated on their facts, their circumstances, the surrounding community, all of the issues, and not on a rule that a developer is telling us that because they got their application in and complete before the executive directive was modified,
that we are then stuck
That's
with
it?
a
It's just
vested right.
50,000 for 110 pounds of that shit?
This
Oh, he
is
can
Lisa
pay for
Weber
that
with the
himself
City
then, I
Planning
guess.
Department. I
Well, he has
would
that
say
stashed
that
at the house.
whatever
I
decision
figured
is
that'd be
made
a lot of
today
money.
by the City
140
Council
pounds?
for any future pending appeals,
Flip time?
there are a handful of projects, as
Doing okay.
Councilmember
How are you?
Blumenfield indicated, that did come in, that did submit applications. We do have 2 additional pending appeals.
heat this up.
Because this is an issue related to process, we would want to look consistently across all of these projects.
Well, why wouldn't a consistency be looking at the unique facts and circumstances that surround each project? If, in fact, this project is one where a council member says, I know my district better than anybody else, here are the facts and circumstances, here's the reasons why, not because I'm relying on vesting, not because I'm handcuffing the rest of the council, I'm relying upon my knowledge and my understanding of the community and what I want to see, and I'm urging you to approve this appeal.
Yeah, I don't know
Why
anything
couldn't the
about
same
it,
be
Wolf.
true
That's just
for
what
my
I'm reading
colleague,
in the
Mr.
chat.
Blumenfield, who comes forward and says, because of the surrounding neighborhoods, because of the pattern of the property, because of the traffic impact, because of whatever, I'm not putting words in his mouth, why are you telling me first that there's not a vesting, and then you're telling me that for some reason that each appeal has to be considered the same, when the clearest thing in the world is that every single property is unique?
So Councilmember McCosker, Lisa Weber with City Planning.
It's a $5 million shipment.
The matter that's before us is really about the process. It's really about whether or not the application to even move forward through the planning department entitlement process. It's really a decision as to whether these processes
Hell
will be
was that, honey?
administrative or discretionary in nature. It's really not about the particulars of each individual project or the property or which council district
Yeah.
it's located in.
Well, why wouldn't it be the case then, and I will sit down, I might speak again, why wouldn't it be the case then, if there's no vested right, that we look at the particular property in question and say, here, you got your application in when the mayor's unintended consequence was that an R1 property could apply for such a right. We are going to let you abide by those rules because we are exercising our discretion. We're saying that, in fact, your application was complete, you can move forward. And in another circumstance, say, because you don't have a vested right, the rules changed. The rules have changed, and you are not vested, and we are going to apply that set of rules to you. Why couldn't we do that? I want to be very clear. I want to support my colleague, and I want to support my colleague. And are you telling me I can't do that?
I think the council has the discretion to consider appeals as they come before this body.
And the one thing that constrains us from doing so is the vested right, and we're saying there is no vested right here. One of the things that does that to us is the vested right, and we are saying there is no vested right here.
That would be the decision of the council today. That
will be my selection. Thank you.
Look at her. She's
Council-
all fiddling with the pen now. She seems nervous.
Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
Thank you. So, just to be clear, my understanding is that the state's Housing Accountability Unit issued a letter saying that this appeal met the vesting requirements. Can you talk a little bit about that letter and whether that controls or how that weighs into the decision on whether or not vesting happened here?
Yes, this is Lisa Weber with City Planning. We have been in communication. We've had a number of phone conversations and dialogue with the state agency. A number of the applicants that have filed appeals have also reached out to the state agency for their technical guidance. They did submit a letter to the Department of City Planning. It is their position that the Executive Directive 1 would constitute a mandate. I could read a portion of their letter here, that it would be encompassed as any other rules, regulations, requirements, and policies of a local agency, that ED1 would be captured under the vesting status through the Housing Crisis Act. And so their technical opinion is that ED1 does have vesting status. We did consider this. We worked closely with the mayor's office looking at the intent
She does not look like Alyssa Milano.
We also work closely with our
And
city
Melissa
attorney's
Milano's
office.
crazy anyway, that
And
chick's-
we've come to a determination that ED1 does not carry vesting status.
And how would the letter issued by the state play into any pending litigation?
Cat's name
Would it be
is
persuasive or
Chase.
dispositive or?
But his nickname is Stinky. It's a long
That
story.
may be a better question for the
Little
city
Stinks or
attorney,
Stinky,
but I
you
would
might see
imagine
that in
it
the
would
chat
be
room.
considered.
They're referring
it
to
was
him.
certainly a consideration as
Though
part
his
of
real
the
name is Chase.
Plum
It's on
Committee
his-
meeting last week.
On his birth certificate, it says Chase.
we
Chase
get the city
Felix.
attorney
Felix is his
on
middle
that?
name, like Felix the cat. AKA Spanks.
Adrian Corsani, City Attorney's Office. So the opinion by HCD would be, under case law, persuasive at most, not binding. There's sufficient case law on that. They are the body who enforces the application of state regulations against municipalities, but the courts would have to consider the context in which their opinion is being considered.
So we don't know. Just persuasive and.
It could be
it'd
argued
our
either
word
way.
against the state's letter. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Stank
Thank
X,
you,
first generation.
Councilmember Rodriguez. Councilmember Krikorian.
Oh, he showed up. He decided
Thank
to
you
show
very
up
much,
today.
Mr. President, and I am very appreciative
right,
of
Paul
Mr.
Martin
Blumenfield's
Procure, you racist pink-skinned
motion and
Nazi
his
pig
concern about what
motherfucker.
may come in the future in his district. But I just want to reiterate that what's before us today is not that. What's before us today is the completeness of an application for a particular project. There may be impacts that come in the future, but that is not before us today. What's before us is a discrete question of whether or not this appeal should be granted and whether or not this file is complete. And so I want us to try to focus on that question. And that's what
That's it,
the
Eric.
Plum Committee focused on, and that's why we have the recommendation that's before us today. But I don't want this issue of
Look how nice that suit is.
Councilmember
That ain't
Yaroslavsky
cheap. That ain't
just
Men's
raised
Warehouse.
to
That's
slip
our
past
money.
us. Because
Paying for that.
according to the California Department of Housing and Community Development, interpreting the California law that governs this area, the central question between the city and the applicant is whether an executive directive is an executive directive one of the rules, regulations, requirements, and policies that vest upon submission of a complete
It was great,
preliminary
Beanie Cat.
application.
He lost 4 pounds.
According to the housing department,
He's perfect
the
weight now.
answer
He's
is
11.3
yes.
pounds.
Government
He was
Code Section
15.3.
65941.1 vests the ordinance, policies, and standards
That food
in
did 'em
effect
great.
when the
And I've
application
been working 'em
is
good,
submitted.
making 'em run around
Subsequently,
everywhere.
Maybe there could be changes made,
yeah.
but the vesting happens
Told you
when it is
we'd correct
submitted.
the issue.
That's
It's that
according
food, that
to
Blue Buffalo food is
government-
good
the
food. He told me
California
it
State
is.
Housing
Said it's just way fatty. That's all.
interpreting California
That's why,
state law.
if you notice when we looked at him, you know, his, not to say it's not shiny now, but his coat was like super, super shiny all the time. And it's just because it's really fatty food, you know, so it's not bad, but it's just too fatty. That's the problem. So, yeah, that the Hills prescription food is what he's eating now, though. He likes it.
This Act that does establish vesting status.
Blue boof.
Okay.
We did that for 9 projects, 9 applications prior to the clarification of ED1.
Yeah. So I'd be very concerned about the city taking a
I
position.
don't know if I'm great. I mean, I, you
where
know, I
the
care
city
about him.
planning
That's all.
department indicates
He's
these
happy, he's
rights are
healthy.
vested.
That's all that
and
matters.
then later,
Sure.
the city planning department changes its position and says these rights are not vested. Now, Mr. McOsker
It's a
raised
high-end
his point,
food, Cam.
is
It's
that,
not
you know,
terrible.
is vesting
That shit's
necessarily
expensive.
the result of the executive order? And there seems to be a feeling
Not
that
che- that's
maybe
not
it
cheap
is.
shit.
But in this case, that representation was made. And that's what we're voting on before us today. So either there is no vesting under an executive directive, which I would be deeply concerned about the impact that that would have
Oh,
on
that's
the
dope,
other
Supra.
7,000 units
That's
of
awesome.
affordable housing that have already been moving through
That's
this
what I'm
process
telling you, Ross. Yeah,
because
it's
of the mayor's
expensive.
executive
It ain't
directive.
cheap. That shit was not cheap.
Or there is vesting, and in this case, that's what the planning department represented to this particular developer
one of
of
those
this
more pricey ones
100%
at Chewy
affordable
or at
project
fucking
with no
Petco.
government subsidy. So, folks, if we really do believe in, the need to develop more affordable housing, if we really do believe that we have a housing crisis in Los Angeles, and we are concerned about, how expensive it is, this is a 100% affordable project that's 100% privately financed without any subsidy from this city involved, right? That is the nature of this project. Okay. And in addition to that, if it weren't enough that there were vesting, there was a representation of the city planning department indicating that this.
How much money are they
developer
wasting
is
just
vested
talking about
with
this shit
these
back and
rights.
forth? Buy the fucking
If it weren't
trailers
enough that
already.
the
Put it
state
down in a
housing
fucking
department
field where you
also
already
says
own.
that this developer
We're
is
already
vested with
halfway
these
there.
rights.
We can start putting people in right
if it
away.
weren't enough
Get
that the
Andy
state
Gump to
law
show up with
alone was
portable
enough to
showers, portable toilets.
basically make
I've been to many, and I mean many, a rock festival. Some of the biggest rock stars in the world was shitting and pissing and showering in those things. So if they can do it, these folks can do it. I'm sorry. Not to say that they're any better than these people, but I'm just saying, if they do it, anybody could do it.
from
I've done
the
it. Come on now.
To help to
That way you got
alleviate
showers,
the impact
you
of
got
this
you got
project.
fresh, clean showers, you
None
got
of which
restrooms, you got a
the
trailer for
developer was
everybody that has
required
literally a fireplace
none
in it, a
of
TV, all that
were-
shit.
The developer was required to give.
Come
up.
on.
The developer could
Stop
have said,
it already.
"Thanks, council
Stop,
member, but we're
stop the
building."
cap, as they
But
say. Stop the
because of
lying,
work
stop
that
the
Councilmember
bullshit,
Rahman
stop
did,
all that shit.
She secured additional.
Yeah, you could have food trucks show
mitigations
up.
relating to this.
Guarantee.
project. So I just
Come
don't
on.
see how we can, in good faith.
That's it, Catherine. They all have to have their
turn
money and they all have to have their
our
hands in the pot
backs
and their
on
say.
This opportunity.
It's all this.
To build a 100% affordable project that our planning commission already said was
You know,
vested.
it's all
the
it is.
state already said is vested. That doesn't cost the city a dime. And
Developing
is
dog
entirely
possibly
consistent
shot by
with both the
police
state
in
law
downtown
and the
Los
mayor's
Angeles.
executive
That's not
directive.
good.
There may be concerns about things that are coming down the
Incident
pike.
unfolded around
I understand that.
9:45.
We'll
Police were called to
maybe
help a
there are
person who
solutions that
was
we can
involved
deal
in an
with the
incident
interim,
with a
maybe
dog.
not. I mean, to Mr. McOsker's point,
Ambulance was arrested. A
if
65-year-old
there
man
is
has
no
sustained
vesting, then
multiple
we deal with each one of
lacerations
these
by a dog.
situations differently. If there
The
is
situation
vesting,
became
then there's
handled
only
as
one vote that we
dog
can cast
shootings.
today. So either way, the vote that we
that's crazy.
cast
So somebody got
today,
bit.
whether
I
it
guess
is
they
vesting, in
responded
which
and
our
shot
vote
the
is
dog.
required, or if there's no vesting, in which case we should just look at this project without concern about future projects. Either way,
Stop
your
the
vote
lies
today
there, Rick.
must be to approve this project moving forward. So
Didn't say
I
what kind of dog it
respectfully
was, it
ask,
just said dog.
Very respectfully, Mr. Bloomfield, very concerned about the situations that you have raised, but that's not before us, and I'd ask that we support Councilmember Rahman on this.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you. So,
didn't
thank you,
specify
Mr.
what kind of
Blumenfield,
dog
and I
it
think
was.
there's been a really wonderful, comprehensive dialogue that's been addressing all of the multitude of concerns here. And while we can appreciate that there might have been one developer that is making accommodations in good faith, we also
Any
know
dog could
that
be
the
mean.
discretionary
The owners that make
vesting
them
that was
mean.
provided was based on this ED1.
Plenty of
correct?
sweet pit bulls that are
And
just
so
lovable.
then by
Don't bother
making
nobody.
this
All they want is love.
discretionary decision to
That's
support
it.
that, even though that we know you're essentially going to be enabled to continue
In
to
fact,
go.
in all my years of existence, the only dog I've ever been bit by, and funny enough as it is, I was sitting on my friend's couch drinking a glass of milk. They open up the patio door. The dog just literally runs right to me and bites me right in my leg. And it was a chow chow.
If the council chooses to uphold
Fucking
the
purple
appeal,
tongue
the
having
process,
motherfucker.
will be administrative in
So I don't
nature.
trust chow chows
So you would act
and Akitas. Those
consistently
dogs
in the
are,
same manner that
I'm
provides
quick
all
to
the
get my leg
vesting
ready to kick
without
them.
whether or not
And
we
I don't hurt
secure any
animals. You know I love
concessions or
animals, but
anything
I'll
that
kick a
makes
dog at
improvements
coming
to
at
the
me.
project,
I
correct?
will defend myself.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, and the answer is yes. And so I can appreciate that perhaps we can look further down
I don't know
the road
why. I was sitting down.
to
We were just watching
potentially see
TV.
how we might
Watching
change
skateboard
that.
and shit. And I was
But the
drinking milk
process
and
is going to be
spilled milk all over me with the dog.
delineated here today
bit
by
my
this
fucking
action
leg.
for all future
No
projects.
reason.
And I think, again,
Chows are all
we
bad.
understand that
It's a
was
weird
not
dog.
the mayor's
Chow
intention, and there was a correction that was made. And I know, do we want to?
Yeah, they bit me for no reason. I wasn't even. I was 20 feet away, sitting on a couch. I wasn't like hitting the glass door. It was on the patio. As soon as they opened the patio door, it came right
Kevin
at me.
Keller, Senior Advisor to Mayor Bass.
So can you please provide some guidance on
You
this
got bit by a
process in
pincher,
Eden
Doberman?
One
You don't see
and the
Dobermans
discovery
too
that
much
was
anymore.
made subsequent to its initial
They used to be everywhere in the 80s.
Sure, and I want to thank the Planning Department. This is a very
But the Dobermans
unique
definitely
set
kind of went
facts
by
in
the
front of us,
wayside.
So appreciate everyone's
People
work on this.
wanted pit
Just
bulls.
some
and-
high level,
you know how it is. Then
overview.
bulldogs and German
Mayor did
shepherds.
issue
and-
Executive Directive 1 in December.
then it became the lap dogs, the chihuahuas, and the French bulldog.
Being utilized here, which is understandable.
Kind of just changes. A lot
intent
of people
ED1
get all
was to
trendy with
streamline
it.
Development on parcels already zoned for multifamily development. Parcels that would comply with the zoning. There were regulations saying no zone changes, no general plan amendments, no variances. These qualifying projects that would be 100% affordable would not require hearings, not require
I
environmental
love animals. I
analysis,
love
not
all
be
that. I
subject
tell you all the
to
time I
appeal.
hang out with the
We
lizards
have some
outside of the
numbers
house.
on the success of that program as a
Those
whole.
things are great. Love the little lizards.
In June, the mayor did issue a revision and a clarification that single-family proproperties were not.
But you got to protect
eligible,
yourself.
And I think that's been understood.
It is what
so
it
we have
is.
a limited subset
There are dogs that are
materials here
savage.
that started their application prior. It is the.
That's another reason
although the
why I
mayor
always
does
say
believe-
that it's good, especially with the pepper spray, because when you have pepper spray, that's really what it was derived for mail carriers. They have it all the time on their waist in case the dog attacks them. You know how dogs are; they don't seem to like the mail carriers too much, and that's really how it started. So if you're somebody who likes to walk around the block, get exercise, stuff like that, you walk to work. Those are good things. Not only can it help you out and somebody's trying to, accost you, but an animal as well. People don't realize that, It's really a good thing because it's non-lethal. It's not going to, it'll hurt them for a second, burn their eyes for a second, but like anything else, it'll stop. It'll annoy them more than anything, and then you won't get bit, So, had they had that available, they might not have had to shoot the dog, but the problem is anyways, the dog would have been euthanized because the dog bit that old man 4 times, probably at least it said several lacerations. So
Dawson,
I'm assuming it was
there are a
multiple
number of
bites
us
there.
that, go through great lengths to accelerate that.
You know how it is. A
process
lot
and
of
have
times when you go down as
exercised
prey,
that,
they'll
in our
start
tenure.
continuing to
But
bite
this
you
is
because now
about
they know they're
procedural
pouncing.
Approach
Essentially, that's
to how
pouncing
we
on
do
you.
that unilaterally, and whether or not we
Let's watch the
enable
alley.
the exploitation of this moment in time before this correction was made. And so the decision that we're making today is more about whether or not we actually retain that, because they've already told you. The decision that we make today gives them the clear instruction about how they will proceed going forward. So, and there's nothing that will essentially obstruct. If Ms. Rahman wants to continue to full throttle on this, there's nothing that stops her for that.
They fighting?
If that's what she chooses. But for the balance of
They're
this
fighting?
city and what we want to do with respect to our own districts, I think
Thailand.
it's important for us to retain that process in the procedure as we're exercising land use decisions.
It's
with
Samu
respect
Komi
to,
or something like that.
with
I think
respect
that's how
to
you, I
ED1.
know I
And
pronounced
so,
it wrong.
Thank you, Mr.
It's
Keller.
not
Appreciate
Bangkok,
that.
but it is Thailand.
Colleagues, I ask that you
They
support
just
Mr.
closed all the
Blumenfield's
bars, so that's why
amendment,
everybody's coming out onto the streets.
And I want to make sure that we are
2:15
going
in the
this
morning.
clear-eyed, that we don't enable the exploitation on a case-by-case basis for those that actually got in under this
2:15
window.
a.m.
Thank you very much.
It's man bag central. There's one man
Councilmember
bag
Park.
right there. Every minute you're
Thank
going to have
you,
a man
Council
bag.
President, and thank you
Or a
to my
fanny
colleagues
pack.
for the questions and the debate, and to everyone at the table who's been willing to help guide us in this decision.
A lot of loose
At the
buttholes.
end of the
Oh,
day
yeah.
here, I agree
Tied
with
buttholes,
our mayor
loose buttholes,
and, my
women
colleagues.
buttholes, men buttholes.
What is before us is not a disagreement over whether to support or oppose new housing.
Merce.
Rather, this is a disagreement over the process that was used to achieve that under a very unique set of circumstances. Councilwoman Rahman, I support you in your efforts to bring more housing online. And
Do I wear a
as the
man bag?
council
No.
member for your district,
I do have a
I trust
fanny
that you
pack type thing
understand
that's for
where density is
for when
most
I go
appropriate
live
and
on the
what
streets
your
for like a
constituents
battery
need
holding.
and expect from you.
You know, the battery packs, they're
My
pretty heavy, dude.
constituents in CD11
So you don't want to
also
put it in your
support the
pocket. It's dragging your
development
pants
of
down,
good,
and then you got to
affordable
run
housing.
or move quickly.
But with that
you
said,
put it in here, and that
I
way it's
also
closer
hear
to
the
your phone
concerns
because it's
of
on your chest.
Councilmember Blumenfield
So
and
that's it.
Councilwoman Rodriguez about the precedent that today's
But I never
action
use it
would
anything
have
else than
on
just
their
going out when
own
I'm shooting.
ability to involve the local
doing
community
streaming
and shape
from the
similar
streets.
proposals in their districts. Those concerns about local community engagement and the ability to have a seat at the table in discussions about densification and developer concessions are concerns that I share personally and that I know matter to my constituents in CD11.
You don't care
Building
about your
a 7-story
constituents.
building without adequate parking in an R1 single-family neighborhood without any community process is an absolute non-starter for me and my constituents. And it's not a precedent that I am willing to set here today. And for anyone who may be willing to criticize this vote or claim that it's anti-housing, let me be clear. Opposing this appeal doesn't stop the project. It just places it on an alternate course for approval that would give
did
the
it, Jimmy? I
community
didn't know.
an opportunity to be heard and the council members
I gotta
seat
take
at
a
the
look at
table
it.
in discussing those potential concessions.
Thanks for letting me know.
We aren't turning our backs on housing, and we aren't saying no to good, affordable development. But with all due respect to planning, mistakes are made, and we need the ability to correct them in real time
keep
when
forgetting
that
to put the
happens. So
fucking
for
ad
that
blocker on
reason
here.
and many more, I support denial of the appeal.
Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
Shiitake mushrooms are great. I like
Thank you.
shiitake
So
mushrooms.
I'm
are
going to be
good.
voting yes today in support of the appeal, and I want to say why. My vote is largely centered on the fact that if we deny this appeal today, we are very likely going to lose in court on this project and the other projects that are in a similar position, and it's going to cost taxpayers millions of dollars we cannot afford to lose. As we discussed earlier, the State of California Housing and Community Development Housing Accountability Unit has made their position clear on this matter, that ED1 does constitute
So
a
it's
policy
this one right here?
under which these projects are vested, and our own planning
Is this the new
department
camera?
initially said so as well. I want to be clear, though, that my vote isn't a tacit agreement that this is an
Pina
appropriate use of
coladas.
ED1 and how it was intended to be used. I think that the mayor's made that clear. But
got
while this
3
project
doors?
might not have been the intent of ED1, I don't think denying this appeal is a risk that we as a city should be taking, considering the massive legal exposure that we're going to be putting the city in by doing so. So I don't like that we're in this position, but I also think that we're very likely to lose in court. It's going to cost us a lot of money, and in the meantime, we're slow walking hundreds of affordable
That's
housing
Sloppy
units at a
Joe's, the
time
different one bar.
when we desperately need it. Is this the right place
Key
for
West.
it? I leave that up to my colleague whose district it's in, but I don't know how we can deny the appeal, given what we've gotten from the state of California, and I think that it's going to end up being problematic for us financially and
Rick,
otherwise. Thank you.
Sloppy Joe's is in Key West, Florida.
Councilmember Blumenfield.
Thank you. And
The other one's in
appreciate
Fort
all the discussion
Lauderdale,
with my colleagues.
Florida.
Although our city attorney, I'd like to bring our city attorney up because my understanding from our city attorney is that we can deny this appeal and that we are in good legal standing to do that. So I'd like us to understand that question because I think it's a very dangerous precedent to
I mean, shit, it's already 3 o'clock.
allow
over
a
there.
mistake like this to create a vesting right. But the reality is this will be tested in court one way or the other. If we deny the appeal, the developer will likely sue. And if we don't deny the appeal, then the homeowners are going to sue. And I don't just mean the homeowners of this project, I mean all of the projects. And I'd rather have that, that legal issue with the developer and not with the homeowners. In terms of just a couple of quick points, I mean, talking about the mitigation, I'm glad that there was some concessions that were made, but none of that's guaranteed. It didn't go through our process. So a voluntary mitigation, I hope that they're all going to be given, but there's no guarantee of that. And then certainly, as Ms. Rodriguez pointed out, on the 5 projects that are in my district, I have, once we make this move, and this becomes a procedural issue, I have no leverage to get any concessions at all. They're going to be able to just build a 7-story building in a single-family area. And I wish, as Mr. McCosker said, that we could treat them differently. But as I understand it, the facts, we don't get to talk about the facts on the ground of the project.
Beers.
What's before us, as Mr. Krikorian said, is the completeness of the application.
This is live.
So it's really, the question before us is a process issue. It's
Awesome.
not about the project. If it was about the project, then I would feel like I'd have more leverage to go after those other ones that are in my district, or at least work with them to make them good.
I like 'em.
But my fear is that this is a procedural, what I'm hearing too, is this is a procedural question. And once we make that decision, how would we treat other ones differently? Because then we'd be in the position of saying, well, this project, we like it, so we're going to give you this procedure, but this project, we don't like it, so we're going to give you a different procedure.
It's cool.
And you can't do it based on what's on the ground. So my concern to that is, and maybe I'll get planning or city attorney to confirm that, because if there was a way to
Christmas
do
time?
it, I'd be open to what Mr. McCosker was suggesting. But
Little Fonz, yep.
I don't know if the department can speak on that. Do you see any way that we
Eastern
could have
back doors, outdoors.
different
That's what it's called.
procedures
Back-
for different
Eastern
projects moving forward?
backwoods outdoors. Sorry.
Thank you,
Cool
Councilman
channel.
Blumenfield, Vince Bertoni,
Thumbs
Director of
up
Planning.
to
I do
them.
not. So whatever, I think
Yeah,
that
North
these were all
Carolina.
similarly situated applications. And so because it's actually, may seem nuanced, but it's a simple decision you're making. It's under Executive Directive 1, understanding was based upon an emergency order. Does it vest or not? And that's just a simple one. So whatever you decide today, I don't see any other way but applying to all the other similarly situated applications, and there's around 8 or 9 of those.
But we are making that vesting. I know the state has some letter, but the city attorney says that letter doesn't mean that it's vested. So I'm hearing differences. I'm hearing the city attorney say you're not vested. I heard the planning department say we're not vested. It's going to go to court to determine this vesting thing. I don't want to give the boost to that vesting decision that our mistakes make that. And if we make this decision today and we don't deny the appeal, we are going to basically give up on that vesting question as it moves to court.
I think for our standpoint as a department, that decision will be made by the city if that's, because I think it's under your authority.
That's the decision we're making today.
Right.
Okay, so the decision that what is on the table before us, to be clear, is whether or not we want to grant a vested right simply because we made a mistake. And think about what that precedent means moving forward for other planning decisions or other changes that we might make that creates the vested interest. I don't think that's something we can afford or should make that concession. If the courts go down that road, let the chips fall where they may. But I urge an aye vote on the denial.
Thank you, Mr. Blumenfield. A very quick question for the planning department, following up on Mr. Blumenfield's comments, and I appreciate everybody's participation in this conversation and rich discussion. Is it your contention that if you treat the rest of these projects as if they are vested because of this one vote today, if you as a department decide to do that, those projects move into a place where they cannot be appealed for any reason?
If those projects would be processed administratively, and an administrative process means that the Department of City Planning would be conducting a compliance review based on objective zoning standards. There would be no CEQA analysis, and there would be no ability for an appeal. There would also be no public hearing before the City Planning
Mr.
Commission.
Sachs loves CEQA.
Got it. Thank you so much. Ms. Rahman.
Where's Mr.
I
Sachs,
had a question.
man?
How would this impact all of the other 81 projects, not the ones that are under the?
Good morning, Arnold Sachs.
I don't believe there'd be, so the only ones that would be impacted were the ones that have similarly situated, and that's the ones that have been detailed in.
But why would this particular piece of ED1? So ED1 was the rule then. ED1 changed slightly, and you're saying that under that period of ED1, the projects approved under that period, which because you did send out a letter approving this. Under that period, because it's ED1, they don't have vesting rights why wouldn't all of the projects that are under ED1 also not have vesting rights? I'm kind of confused. Like, wouldn't every project approved under ED1 now be subject to appeals challenges?
No, this is the other ones that are similarly situated are regarding the change in ED1, which is the single family.
No, I understand, but when this was initially submitted, ED1 included single R1, and then it changed.
Right.
And so you're saying because it changed, suddenly the capacity of ED1 at that time to confer vesting rights cannot be upheld? It just doesn't make any sense to
When
me.
Executive Directive 1 was clarified by the mayor's office, it spoke specifically to this issue of the single-family zoning.
I know, but
and-
that was
and excluding.
afterwards, right?
So that was it was a very narrow clarification that was made, and as a result of that, those projects that came in that were R1 zoned or more restrictively zoned no longer fully complied with ED1.
But it did comply with ED1 as it was written initially.
At the time, that's correct.
So,
But it was with the guidance of the mayor's office, it was never their intent to capture
I know,
that
but
level of zoning.
so I understand that it wasn't their intent, but that was the rule as it was written, right? Like the developers are not exploiting a loophole. They were following the rules as they were written at that time in order to submit a project that they felt met the guidelines. And the planning department also responded to them and said that they met the guidelines at the time.
Right.
That's correct. I would say that ED1 was really silent to this issue of a single-family residential zoning. Because it was silent to it, it needed that clarification. And for that reason, these projects did come in. They did go through the SB 330 Housing Crisis Act pre-application vesting review process and did secure vesting status prior to that clarification taking place.
Okay. Mr. McCosker, did you have an additional question?
We got a few more speakers on the queue. Ms. Rahman, we'll come back to you before we close. Councilmember Padilla.
You know, I just wanted to say that I'm hearing two different things. One thing from the planning department, and it feels like it's a different thing from the city attorney. And I think that's the biggest frustration with decisions related to planning. I wanted to make sure that if I supported this out of planning, it would not affect how I can interact with the project that's coming to my district. But from what I'm hearing today, I'm getting the impression that if we support it, it will reduce the ability for me to truly engage with the developer for the project coming to my district. Therefore, I would much rather support the affordable housing plan that's coming to my district through the traditional process than this. Just wanted to say that.
Councilmember McCosker.
So I too am sort of troubled and confused about the different opinions I'm hearing just today, but also what appears to be the different opinions and advice over time. My report says the planning department
Sorry, I had to
argued
take
that
care
the
of something
appeal-
on eBay real quick.
that the
Apologize,
appeal should be
please.
denied. And for
Always
this
something.
reason. The executive directive issued by the mayor pursuant to a declared emergency is not an ordinance, policy, or standard in which a project application can vest. That this is a policy and it is not something that can
Just somebody
create
trying to
under the law
scam me
a
out of
vesting.
something they bought.
What I'm hearing now, in part, although I'm hearing a lot of different things, what I'm hearing is that if we grant the appeal, suddenly we have changed all that. And that if we grant the appeal, it's creating a vesting, and it's creating a vesting across all of the mayor's executive directives. And colleagues, I might be arguing at counter purposes with some of your arguments, but think about the significance of that. That a mayor's executive directive can create a vesting on land use. If that is the case, we're out of the land use business. We are out of the land use business. I want to grant this appeal, and I know the folks won't like that, because I do not believe there's a vesting. I believe
not
the
fond of
council member
scammers either.
understands her district and knows where we are at. And I
Sad
also
deal.
believe I do not believe that granting the appeal creates the vesting. It doesn't spring. This feels like Blazing Saddles where, nobody move or the sheriff gets it. Why do we always do this to ourselves? Why do we do this to ourselves? We are not creating a vesting. We're granting an appeal. And I believe that we can consider, should there be an appeal in another district, we can consider the facts and circumstances then. Tell me whether I'm wrong. And I don't want, and by the way,
Yes.
I don't generally give away my vote because somebody on staff tells me I have to vote one way or the other. But tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah, we can.
Adrian Corsani, City Attorney's Office. So,
Jesus, wrap this shit up,
with
man. I
regard
need to
the
go.
vesting and the idea
Shit is
of
terrible.
precedent, I would say this, and I also just, as a reminder, I'm in open session. We understand that there's litigation on either side, so
Yeah.
I'll speak as openly as I can.
Okay.
The Housing Accountability Act provides a right of action under Government Code 1094.5. So any decision that is made on subsequent appeals that may come before the council with similar facts, we'll need to have a record that each decision is not arbitrary and capricious and it's based on substantial evidence. So because this is a procedural issue, I think what the planning department has expressed is
Stinks rookies are
in
worth
their
a
view,
lot of money, man.
the facts are similar based on that procedure. So it would be incumbent upon the council in considering future appeals to be able to meet that legal standard.
Yeah. So, and it is what is the standard?
Arbitrary and capricious and lacking in substantial.
So they would have to. So if I were to say in the CD4 case that I felt that their application was complete and they can move forward, there might be a lawsuit, might not be a lawsuit. If I were to say that their application was not complete, and they would have to argue that that was arbitrary and capricious on the part of the city council.
Right, and I would hope that the city council would, in their deliberation, provide facts and evidence.
And
for us
going back
argue.
to Councilmember Ramon's question, if we deny the appeal today, and presumably that would be because there is no vested right, then there is no vested right in any part of the mayor's executive directive. I get your argument that there are some similarly situated, but for the thousands and thousands of units, should there be any modification before the project has a C of O, no vested right, those projects would exist without a vested right. I don't think it's entirely complete to say that we are only making a decision about 7 similarly situated cases. We are making a decision, or you are trying to put us in a position, you collectively, that we are making a decision about every single project that's relied upon any executive directive by the mayor. Because there's no vested right, or there is a vested right. And I'm just not buying that. I'm not buying that we are establishing a vested right by granting the appeal. Thank you.
Councilmember Krikorian.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. McOsker. I think you've clarified the issue considerably. Members, there's only 2 choices that are possible in this. Either the executive director created a vested right, in which case we have no alternative but to grant this appeal, or it did not grant a vested right, in which case everything that Mr. McOsker just said is true, and we can deal with each project independently. So to me, this becomes a very easy call, because if there is a vested right, and the state agency in charge of enforcing the Housing Accountability Act is correct in their interpretation of state law, and we're wrong about that, and we deny this appeal despite that vested right, then the city is going to be exposed, as Councilmember Yaroslavsky said, to considerable, not only damages, but actual state fines.
State fines?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, under the Housing Accountability Act, the city could be subject up to a fine of up to $50,000 per unit. So if we're wrong about that vesting, and we say, you know, we know better than the state agency that deals with this in interpreting state law, that's the risk that we face. But if the position is correct that no, an executive directive does not create a vested right, then we can move forward today, and we can take other actions with other projects. Or the mayor could further change her executive
He just
directive.
fart.
Or we could, as a council,
Somebody's still
take
coughing back there.
actions
Can you
that
hear him?
govern the process by which those, developments with non-vested rights will be approved. So to me, this is really a simple question. There is an appeal before us. If those rights are vested, we do not have the discretion to deny that.
Tamale Tuesday?
We do not
I'm all
have
right with
that
tamales.
discretion.
They're all right.
As much as we might think
Don't
it's
like
a great
them much as
idea,
tacos.
we don't
Or
have the legal
taquitos.
discretion
It could be
to do
Taquito
that.
Tuesday, huh?
Conversely,
Why can't
if
it be
there is an vested
Taquito
right, then
Tuesday?
we don't have
It's a
any
rolled
of the concerns
taco.
that have been expressed about
Same shit.
precedential
Rolled.
effect. We can
Love
we
me
can
some
deal with that as it
taquitos.
comes. So, again, I'd ask that you support.
Yeah, someone's been coughing the whole
the
goddamn
appeal,
time.
and respectfully that we vote no on the amendment and yes on the underlying matter.
Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
Man, this
Just
fool's as
real
bored
quick,
as I am.
City Attorney's Office.
Come
has a
on, man.
question. Can we pass a motion in the future that requires that future projects, these 8 other projects, be appealable to provide Councilmember Blumenfield and others with the space to negotiate with the developers and have a more robust conversation going forward? Because we don't know whether or not vesting occurred, as Council President Krikorian just said.
I believe
but
they are
either
deep
way,
fried.
it would be nice for the council
Just
members in
rolled,
whose districts
fried,
these projects are
deep fried
located to
taco.
be able to have the space to have that
Cooked in oil.
opportunity. And this
I
might
don't know. I never made them.
give us a chance
other than in
to
the air
bring
fryer.
a motion that would allow for that.
And those are already like pre-made and rolled.
Even
You're
for
just
Signing
heating
City
them.
Attorney's Office, how the applications are going to be processed hereafter is within the discretion of the planning department.
That's it, Sam.
The council can make its intent and desire to establish that whatever happens today is not a commentary on vesting and is based on other factors. I mean, that can all be made clear in the record.
What is this?
And that can be expressed to the director of planning.
Let's see. Newsom signs law increasing taxes on guns, ammunition to fund school security. Federal government already taxes the sale of guns and ammunition to either 10 or 11% depending on the type of gun. The new law that Newsom signed adds another 11% on top of that. So we're talking 21 to 22% tax on any gun, depending on which gun it is. What a dumb fuck. That's going to stop them. See how they punish the people that don't commit the crimes? Did you see that? Do you really think the person that you're trying to stop, so to speak, you say you're virtual signaling trying to stop your voter base there, Gavin? I know you're not trying to stop them, Gavin. That's your voter base. You can't lock them up. Get it. I understand it, Gavin. I do. You're a piece of garbage, just like everybody in your family, down to the 2-year-olds. Okay? They'll be pieces of shit just like you when they grow up. Okay, Gav? That's what I have to tell you. You're a sack of dog shit like everybody in your fucking family. Every man, woman, and child. Your fucking dog and your cat. Okay, I get it. You over here fucking with the people that do everything lawfully and legally.
Procedurally,
I
there's
get
not-
it.
could
Give
you
me
help
more
me
money.
understand
I need
what
the more
further
money.
delays by
I needed more money, please. I'm like Ukrainian. I need more money. I can't buy one tank or one jet or one plane for myself in 20 fucking years. I need more American money. Please give it to me. My wife need a new dress and new makeup and new jewelries. Please, she needed these things. Please, Americans, come on. We needed the more money.
Fear in some respects.
Same thing, Gavin.
They're going to slow down.
You're the same motherfucking
affordable
commie,
housing
Gavin.
That has already been approved. For what we're trying to
You
do
might
is
as well say,
retain
give it to me,
procedural,
money.
And some authority within our own discretion in this conversation. So my question is, given whatever stage this,
I tell you what, Ryan,
this project,
Gavin sucks more than Putin does. He sucks more cock than Putin does.
What further delays would it cause to this project?
This
Gavin's
is
more
liberal
commie
city
than that
planning.
dude is.
So converting this case to a discretionary application.
Please, I need your
that would go
money.
before the city planning
Please, I'm
commission
little
as the
guy this
final
big, 4
decision
feet
maker
tall. I
would
need
also
your
involve
money.
filing an environmental case. CEQA required clearance would be necessary.
Shit.
We'd have to look at that as an infill
Couldn't buy
project.
one jet.
What level of CEQA clearance would be appropriate?
I bought
We
one
would work with the
slingshot in 10
applicant team
years.
And their consultants to do the technical studies. We would conduct a staff level hearing, also advance this to the City Planning Commission for a hearing, and then the decision of the City Planning Commission, the CEQA for that would be appealable.
8 Mile
to the
actor
City
dead,
Council
rapper
through
dead.
planning full
Who
council.
died from 8 Mile?
And so
On my phone just keeps popping up. Everything but a chase.
Anywhere from
Nashawn Breedlove?
9 to 12 months.
Who's that?
Assuming an appeal would be filed.
The actor
on this,
Nashawn
and
Breedlove,
assuming that the
who
applicant
faced
team
off with
would
Eminem
need
in
time
the
to do
rap
the,
movie
environmental
8 Mile,
technical
has died at
studies.
46.
Where are the other projects in the queue? Just
Was he
generally
vaxxed?
speaking?
The other
Bet he was.
projects, the other 8 that do have vesting status that are on single family or more
'Cause it's
restricted
normal to be
zones
dying at such young
are in a
age.
similar status. They all came in at about the same time.
Craziness
We
time.
do have 2 additional pending permit streamlining.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. I
appeals
don't.
that
I mean,
will
I
be,
remember the movie
advanced
8
through
Mile, but I
planning
don't
full
remember
council.
the dude.
think,
I mean, wasn't
you
there
know,
like
for
a
my
whole group of
district, for
guys? It
some
was
of
like a
the
whole
others
group
that are gonna
against another
have the
group.
detrimental impacts and to have no ability to negotiate or engage. Again, there is one particular example where you have an individual that perhaps came to the table in good faith. That has not been historically the case in
Surprised she's
places
wearing
like my
gray or
district,
blue
where
today.
I have many examples
I don't know
where
what
there
that- I
has
think
been
that's gray, I
exploitive
guess.
development opportunities, and this feels like
My
another green
colorblind
light and
ass.
fast track to
I
doing
don't know
that.
where my girl's at. She
for
wasn't
those
there
that
today,
got in
Bionic.
under the wire.
Bionic.
And we will be making a precedent-setting and directive to you.
One could only
by
hope,
in
Pickle.
allowing this to
One
happen
could only
or
hope it
not.
would be so
And so for
fantastic.
the
I'd have a
areas- I can
fucking party.
appreciate for the
I'd have a
areas that
fucking
have
party on this
historically
show for
failed
it.
to
I swear
deliver
to you
on
on
affordable
everything.
housing,
And I would crack
why?
beers.
I understand it's
I'd crack
important,
beers.
But
You know me, I
unfortunately,
don't
what
drink.
it does,
I'd be
it
drinking.
saddles the rest of us.
And I'm
with
not pouring
an
nothing out for
inability to
Noe.
have the discretion over
It's all going down
some
my
of
throat.
these some of the
You ain't getting
developments
nothing.
in our own districts.
Nothing in
And
your
I
honor.
think you've made that very clear by what we would obligate ourselves today based on the vote that we're taking. And
Charcoal
so
gray.
again, colleagues, I'm asking that we support
Cupcake,
Mr.
yeah, don't
Blumenfield's
start talking
amendment.
about
I
cupcakes,
think
and I'm
it's
gonna make me
really
hungry.
important. There's a history of being consistently inconsistent when it comes to whether or not we exercise
Wanna hit her
land use
up.
discretion.
What is
But the
it?
reality is,
MROD
that is the
CD7
job
at
of
MROD
members of the city council.
CD7.
And we have to make sure that we are making decisions that
Why do they all
are
bite off
in,
fucking A-Rod?
that make sense in the neighborhoods that we were elected to represent, and that we retain that authority to do so. And so, colleagues, I ask that you support Mr. Blumenfield's amendment. Thank you.
The LA City Council. That's what it is. It is a council.
Ms. Rahman to close.
Thank you. God damn.
Thank you all for this
Miss Rahman.
robust discussion. I think I've been a very open and vocal supporter of ED1 from the beginning. It's dramatically cut approval times for 100% affordable housing from more than 6 months to 47 days. And in 9 months, more than 7,000 units are in the pipeline across the city. ED1 is what's known as a by right process, meaning it doesn't need approval from any one council member or full council or from the planning commission. That's why it's able to cut down timelines, taking discretion out of the process is why ED1 has been so effective. And in my district, we've seen projects that initially came in as for-profit projects, seeing the predictability that comes from ED1 have actually refiled as 100% affordable. That's how much predictability is valued by developers, and I think really matters to us being able to increase affordable housing in the city. ED1 did not initially include specific language about which zones, and later was revised to exclude single-family or R1 zones.
She doesn't ever
Before
wash
that
her hair.
happened, a few projects filed because they met the terms of ED1 at the time. This project also filed paperwork with the planning department in March to be vested under the state's Housing Crisis Act. And among other things, the Housing Crisis Act locks in local planning and zoning rules at the time that a complete vesting preliminary application is submitted. And that's exactly what this project did. I want to also explain another land use oddity here, which I know is frustrating for the residents who are here, but explains the size of this project. Pursuant to state density bonus laws, if a project is proposed to be 100% affordable development and it's located within a half mile of a major transit stop, or is designated in a very low vehicle mile travel area, and in this case the project actually meets both of those standards, it can qualify for greater density. The additional nuance here is that the underlying general plan land use adopted in the applicable community plan area allows for more
My
base
jug's
density
in the front
than just
room,
one
Cor.
unit. And so this base density allows for more than 5 units, and then that then triggers state and local incentive programs around bonuses and density.
Just to clean it out.
I want to be clear, borrowing
I used
language
it
from
the other
Council
day.
President Krikorian, on what we're voting on today. We are not voting on whether R1 areas should have these projects on an ongoing basis. We're not voting on whether we think that this is the right process. We are just voting on whether the rules were followed when this project was initially submitted, and whether or not a denial of this approval would withstand legal action. And the
not right
Department of
now at the
Housing
moment,
and
'cause I was
Community
having
Development's
coffee,
Housing
just
Accountability Unit
drinking my
did
coffee,
issue a
that's why.
determination that the application was complete.
water later.
And that the project is therefore vested. At my office's request,
That's in
in
the
addition
kitchen
to
soaking.
committing the City of Los Angeles's enforceable good neighbor construction practices, a commitment has been made publicly and on the record by the developers to make adjustments to the project in response to the neighbors' righteous concerns, including moving locations of balconies to be internal to the site, providing publicly accessible open space, providing a clear means of communicating concerns to the developer, and they've also committed to attending neighborhood council meetings to update the
Seen
community
her on
the progress
Pornhub?
of the projects and taking feedback. As with any project of this nature, the project will also have to complete a traffic construction plan that will consider circulation on-site and ingress-egress that will allow another opportunity for community concerns to be addressed. I understand that
Yo,
approving
wrap
this
that shit
appeal
up,
may
B.
set a precedent for other projects that were filed under ED1 before its revision and are also being appealed. But moving to deny projects that have followed the law
Shit,
also
yeah,
sets
I
a
suck
really
toes.
bad precedent, a dangerous one for the City of Los Angeles. If we put out a message that not only are we going to deny 100% affordable projects that followed the rules, that we are so committed to doing so that we will retroactively go back on our planning regulations, take projects that followed the law and deny them, and in doing so expose ourselves to significant legal liabilities, that message will take our already disastrous housing crisis and deepen it further. Working with or in the City of LA requires that people can trust us. We lay out the rules, and if you follow them, you can expect a reliable process. Recent corruption scandals that have rocked the city may seem unrelated to this, but they are very much related. Those scandals happened because we set a standard here that said that the rules we lay out as a city, planning rules, contracting rules, ethics rules, don't actually mean anything. As electeds, we are saying, all we have to do is talk to me and win me over either with political threats or political favors or with cash under the table. I don't believe that we honestly can continue to perpetuate this environment and expect to solve our housing crisis. We can't stand in front of our constituents and tell them honestly that we're doing everything we can to address this crisis. And so I would strongly recommend that we uphold the Plum Committee's decision in the Plum Committee and respectfully deny Councilmember Blumenfield's amendment. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Madam Clerk, what's before us?
The first vote should be on motion Blumenfield Rodriguez.
They're still in there.
To deny the appeal, sir.
All right, so Blumenfield Rodriguez is before us. Mr. Blumenfield is asking for an aye vote. Ms. Rahman is asking for a no vote. Open the roll. Close the roll.
Let's see.
Tabulate the vote.
Ooh,
5 ayes,
it's the
8
most
noes.
I've ever seen it split.
This motion fails.
Ever.
All right, what's before us?
The next vote is on the Plum Committee committee
Never
report,
seen it
and
that
that
like
is
that.
to
Never.
grant the appeal, sir.
All right. This item is before us. Let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
Even
8
this-
ayes, 5 noes.
The ayes win.
The
All right.
the Plum report is adopted, sir.
All right, thank you. What's next on our agenda?
Next is item 39, and that was called special by Councilmember De Leon.
Mr. De Leon for comments? Yes, Mr. De Leon is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Oh, there he
colleagues,
is.
Before us right now is item number 39. In the past few months, we've had a string of very tragic homicides in the Boyle Heights neighborhood, the historic, incredibly beautiful neighborhood of Boyle Heights. We're moving resources for programming for young boys and girls, young teens, ages 11 through 17. This will be programming for after-school activities. We haven't had this before for this age bracket for a lot of young folks under the age of 11, but not 11 through 17. We're also stepping up security measures so our neighbors in and around both Pecan, Wabash, as well as Evergreen Recreation Centers can not just feel safe, but actually be safe. This is very important for the community, but given the string of just very tragic homicides and having the opportunity to sit down.
That's
with,
not a wig, that's his hair.
Several very grieving
That's his
mothers has been very, very painful because of the uptick of crime. I know there's been some data points that crime has
Shaves his
actually
chest.
dropped
He
in
might
the
do
city of
that.
LA. That's an aggregate number, but when you disaggregate that number, crime has actually increased in certain parts of Los Angeles. So
certain?
sometimes what
I mean,
that
all parts.
citywide frame
Certain
is not
parts.
the reality.
Almost
with
all.
a lot of folks, particularly black and brown folks in neighborhoods throughout the city of LA, where we actually have seen a major uptick. So this is an investment in youth, and I just respectfully
Again,
ask for your vote. Thank you very much.
When everybody sees something happen and nobody sees anything, crime is going to continue. Okay? Until you got the backbone to say, hey, they did that, and I'll see them in 2 months in court, and then get in your suit and go to court. Crime is going to continue in your area. So again, when everybody sees everything, but nobody sees nothing, it continues. Newsflash.
43 be amended to add the following instruction. So this would be a fifth instruction. Request Los Angeles Metropolitan Transportation Authority, Metro, to report back to council on an outreach plan for the projects
Don't wonder why it
identified in the
happens.
grant.
Don't be
should
so
they
stupid.
be awarded the funding. All right.
Is there a second to Mr. De Leon's motion?
Uh-oh, we gotta be gray screening now. Shit. Fuck.
Do we have a second? Mr. Blumenfield?
Fuck,
Mr. Blumenfield, second. All right.
At this point, the council can vote on the item as amended, sir.
All right. Let's open the roll.
Fucking Spectrum, you piece
Close
of
the
shit.
roll. Tabulate the vote.
Goddamn Spectrum.
13 ayes.
Fucking junk,
And
dude.
Mr. President, there's a
Every
request to
goddamn
send
day I gotta call
43
them.
forthwith, sir.
All right, without objection. What's next?
Next, council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted and referred.
The desk is clear, sir.
All right, announcements, members.
Hold on, guys. I'm gonna
Ms.
put you on the other
Rodriguez.
screen for a moment.
Thank you, colleagues. I wanted to take an opportunity to uplift a day of service that we will all be celebrating in a number of parts throughout the city of Los Angeles this Saturday. Our,
yeah, I see it's
to
gray
many
right
of us,
now.
Tom
Fucking A,
LaBonge,
dude.
very well known and beloved as
See
Mr.
what I mean?
Los
Spend the
Angeles.
extra
We
money
lost
and
him tragically.
nothing.
And it's from his great example of service that Bridget, Mary Kate, and Charles are continuing his legacy of service in collaboration with LA Civil Human Rights and Equity Department to host the first Tom LaBonge Day of Service this Saturday, September 30th.
Seems
and
to
I
be
wanted
working
to take
all right.
a
I don't
moment
know
to
why.
do
Just
this
intermittent
to uplift this
issue?
early,
I don't know.
so that
There's your
Angelinos
live
from different
speed
parts of the
test.
city can make the time to serve their communities in the same example that Tom LaBonge did. He was a dear friend and a mentor. I was so proud to have had the opportunity to work with him. I know Mr. Lee.
No,
you
I
were
saw a
among
little
those
gray
that
screen there
Had
myself,
a chance
so
to
I
work
know
very
it went
closely
off.
with Tom as well.
It's been red like the whole time since I've been on.
Lived service by example.
Sucks.
He always traveled in his car with a shovel, with gloves,
it's
with
screen-
trash
right now
bags.
it's gray.
He saw every
gray screen
opportunity
right now
to
on
help
Rumble.
clean and care for our
I don't know.
city,
Hold on a second. That's actually
as
hold on.
often as he could, every
That,
day.
is a little
His
bit
day
back.
started with an early morning hike in his beloved Griffith Park, but it ended with countless hellos to strangers, to neighbors, to residents. But it was always his affable and infectious love of the city that he took great care and pride to do everything that he could to keep it clean, to help care for our parks, to do everything that he could to be a true public servant. And so I'm really proud that the LaBonge family, along with our Department of LA Civil and Human Rights,
No, it's just
has
the
selected a
intermittent
number of
bullshit by
locations,
Spectrum. They're garbage, you know.
including one in my district at Rogers Jessup Park in CD7. And the event will kick off at 9 a.m. at Roger Jessup Park in Pacoima. And so I want to invite everyone to please join in celebrating the great Tom LaBonge in an activity that I know he would have loved. And so I'd like to invite all you colleagues to please join us in memory of our dear friend and former colleague, Tom LaBonge, by honoring his name and his legacy in a day of service on Saturday, the 30th. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Price.
Tom,
I just want
Tom
to
DeLonge?
thank neighbors and friends who
I didn't
came
know
out
they all
to
liked
support
Blink
the Fifth
182
Avenue
so
Jazz
much.
Festival this past
All the
weekend.
indicted, federally
There
indicted,
were,
current price.
Three stages of music, 4 information booths, hundreds of folks who were connecting again for the first time in 4 years. And so I just want to thank everybody for coming out. Special shout out to my colleagues Hugo Martinez and Heather Hutt for coming out supporting the cause. And again, just thanking our sponsors, 2 major community sponsors. The Community
No, it
Coalition
wasn't
and
alleged,
the
Enrico.
Coalition
He
and-
wasn't allegedly
I'm sorry, Concerned
indicted.
Citizens and the
He was
Coalition for
indicted.
Community Responsible Development. We're with
He
the
allegedly
city
did the
family, of
crimes
course,
that he was
Cena,
indicted for.
Andrea Green,
But
and
he
Tina
wasn't
did a great
allegedly
job. So
indicted.
everybody-
He was
thank everybody for coming out,
indicted,
being a part,
Enrico.
celebrating Central Avenue Jazz. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other announcements, members, I'll ask that everybody in the chamber rise for adjourning motions.
Finally, they getting the fuck up
Any
out of
adjourning
here.
motions to my right? Mr. Price?
Thank you again, Mr. President. Colleagues, I'd ask that we
Again?
adjourn
Weren't you
the
just
life
talking?
of the great American and my father-in-law.
Yes,
Woodrow
Deluxe.
Charles Ladner. Woody.
You can look up yourself.
Woodrow was born in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, on January the 8th, 1937. The same date, in fact, that my mom was born on January the 8th, to Eunice and Sarah Ladner. He was raised by his mother and stepfather, Robert
Rest in
Keller.
peace,
all of
Sergeant.
whom predeceased him. Woodrow accepted Christ at an early age, and he was baptized at Friendship Baptist Church in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He was an active member who served on the choir, participated in many youth organizations, and was an activist in his youth.
Give him
He
taps,
later
man.
moved
We'll give him
with
some
his family
taps.
to Annapolis, Maryland, where he graduated from Bates High and became the proud father of his first child, Christine Ladner.
Since he was a
Inspired to serve his country
military
in
man.
1955, Woodrow enlisted in the U.S. Army and rose to the rank of sergeant he masterfully executed special missions abroad and as part of the Special Forces unit. He was honorably
Special
discharged,
Forces, dang.
Let's
get it,
July
dog.
1963.
Get it, Woodrow.
While serving in the military, Woodrow met and married his first wife, Geraldine, and Delbra Dell was born from this union.
He was a fighter.
After his military service, Woodrow continued his thirst for learning and entrepreneurship. He went on to further his education at L.A. Harbor College, where he proudly earned a degree in business administration. In the early years, Woodrow held various jobs, often 2 or 3 jobs at a time. As an entrepreneur, he started ventures in retail and selected service industry. He passionately and effectively protested for equal opportunities for minority business owners and the community in Oakland and in L.A. In Los Angeles, he continued to build his career as a Marine clerk at the L.A., Long Beach, Oakland, and San Francisco ports. He was an active member in the International Longshore Warehouse Union, Local 63.
He's a longshoreman, too?
There, he was instrumental in the Deborah Taylor Golden case, where he and others successfully fought to bring women into the union and port workforce.
Amazon being
His
sued
efforts,
by
along with
U.S.
others, made
regulators
history
in
with the
17
Golden
states.
Decree.
Sorry,
In
Jeff.
L.A., he met and
Jeff
married
Bezos going
Sandra
through
Ladner, the love of his life, and wife of 39 years. Together, they shared a love of jazz, traveling, and excursions with the family around the country and abroad.
All
Some
the
of
wrong
their most
alerts on my phone.
Most memorable ventures included trips to Europe, Asia, the Caribbean, and Cuba. Woody was a lifelong
Deaths,
civil
dog
rights advocate,
bites,
and he served
Amazon
as a member in
lawsuits.
good standing with the
Not
Congress
one
for Racial
chase.
Equality, and he was a longtime supporter of the Black Panther Party. He leads to cherish
He was part of the Black Panther Party, too? Dang.
Sandra, daughters Christine and Dell, cousin, sisters Dory and Joyce, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, a host of nieces, nephews, cousins, families, and others. You know, my fondest memories of Woody were receiving newspaper clippings and articles. He was a student of history, student of politics, and so he was always bombarding us with news and information. And he has continued that. He continued that till the very end. He was also a very strong supporter of jazz. He loved jazz, loved to come to the Central Avenue Jazz Festival. Was not able to come this year, but we dedicated the festival in his honor.
Getting a technical whooping today? Well, that's Spectrum. They can't do nothing about Spectrum. They just are garbage. I refuse to waste any more
truly
fucking
missed. I just
time
want to
anymore
thank
with it.
my colleagues, city family,
Sucks.
friends, colleagues.
I mean, you saw me do the speed
express
test. Come on.
words of
You saw what the
support,
speeds are
outgoing
like.
love
I
and
don't know
support.
what else to do.
Kind gestures certainly made it this period more. It made the period easier for us to deal with. And so again, we just thank you for your support. Thank you. May he rest in power, peace, and love.
Thank you so much, Mr. Price. Mr. McCosker.
Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues. I ask that we adjourn in the memory of Robert Bob Seaman, a beloved husband and track and field star who passed away on September 11th in Wilmington after an 8-year battle with Parkinson's.
Well, at least his name wasn't
Bob was
Rich.
born on June 15th, 1935 in Fowler, California, to Reverend Maurice Seaman and Gladys Lawson Seaman. Bob started showing athletic ability early in his life at Reedley Grant Elementary School. He was part of the 880-meter relay team that set a record at the West Coast Relays. He competed in the high jump and standing long
that's a
jump
fast
as well.
mile. God dang.
At Reedley,
He's
he
skinny.
was
Look at
active in student government. He was the
fast-ass
vice
mile.
president and president of his classes. A 3-sport athlete, he excelled
4:21.
in the middle distance events and relays. Took the field as a defensive end
The
and
average
halfback
mile's
on
like
the football
7
team,
minutes,
and he
seven and a
was
half
forward
minutes,
on the
8 minutes.
basketball
The
team.
average mile. He was
It was
twice.
as a mighty pirate that he won the
Yeah,
state
go
mile
Bruins.
4:21 on the historic clay
All-American.
track at Radcliffe Stadium, beating the record set by the iconic and local Louis Zamperini of Torrance in 1934. Originally, he committed to Occidental College. This record-shattering run meant that UCLA opened up for him instead. UCLA was hoping to turn around 30 years of track dominance by SC,
Go Bruins.
which they proudly accomplished with his help by his senior year. Bob set records his freshman year in the half mile and mile, running 1:49.9 and 4:14 respectively. By his sophomore year, He was getting closer to that elusive 4-minute mile mark, running the mile in 4:01.4 at the Compton Relays. Bob's younger brother, John, joined him on the UCLA track team, and at the Stanford meet, they tied the mile, crossing the finish line, holding hands. In 1955, Bob Seaman was a member of UCLA's victorious conference mile relay team and finished third in the mile at the NCAA championship to lead the Bruins to a second-place national finish. During the 1956 season, Seaman set a UCLA record by running the mile in 4:01.4, the second fastest mile in U.S. history at the time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He helped lead the Bruins to the conference title, winning the
4
880.
minutes in a mile.
Later that year, in the NCAA championships, he finished fourth in the 1500 as the Bruins took home the NCAA team title. Seaman served as team captain in 1957, and he was named the All-American Mile
Not far
Champion
from
of
the
the
current
year.
record, huh, Eric?
During his
20
UCLA
seconds
career,
off?
in addition
Less?
to the mile record, Seaman set records in the 880 and the relays. Additionally, he went on to break the 4-minute mile barrier in 1962 after leaving Westwood with a time of 3:58.07.
Shit.
Seaman toured with the Los Angeles
3:58.07.
Track Club after his graduation from UCLA. Damn. In 1962, he became the 8th athlete in history to run a sub-4-minute mile, a 3:58 in London.
He's 15 seconds off
He
the
proved his
current
talent
record
once
right
again
now.
In 1963 at the Compton Invitational, running the mile in 3:59.1.
That's wild. He was
At the
fast.
time, that was considered the greatest mile race in history, with 6 men being timed under 4
Tom
minutes in that
Bradley. Look
race.
at Tom. Look at old Tom
His
right there.
world-class run ended with an Achilles injury, but Seaman did not leave the world of track and field. In 1968, he joined the Amateur Athletic Union, moving from a competitor role to establishing the qualifying standards for the national championships. He was the women's track chairman with the AAU from 1972 to 1990. Involvement in Olympic and World Cup track teams came naturally, and he assisted in both the Latvia and Montreal games. Seaman was the assistant manager of the U.S. women's Olympic team in 1984 and the head manager in 1998. He was also an award-winning meet official up until his retirement in 1996. He was inducted into the UCLA Athletics Hall of Fame in 2008. In 1986, Bob married Simi Hollis, and they settled into their home in Wilmington. And Simi Seaman is a great friend and ally in all things 25. They loved hosting parties and often displayed their impeccable home
Party of two?
on home tours. They donated much of their time to the Banning Mansion and Museum, and they loved going to the museum's events. I know Simi was the family leader on all of those things. Bob worked at S.C. Johnson for nearly 38 years and Allied West Paper Corporation for an additional 15. Post-retirement, he was an extra in several movies, regaling his family during the holidays about amusing stories on set. Diagnosed with Parkinson's disease for over 8 years, he constantly defied his medical team's expectations with his strength and his determination, the same that he brought as an athlete. While the disease did strip him of some of his autonomy, it did not take away his memories, his quick wit, or his dignity. He could remember dates and times and the weather of every event in the past, and always full of the names of different runners and acquaintances. He was always able to make connection between people and places, and had he had unbelievable stories, but they were all true about his exploits. On the morning of Monday, September 11th, 2023, Bob passed away peacefully at home with his wonderful wife of 37 years by his side. Bob was 88. He is survived by Simi, and Simi is here with me now. He is missed by his brothers-in-law, Gregory and Rock, and his niece, Desiree, and his grandnieces and grandnephews. Bob's celebration of life will take place in our community on November 11th at 11 a.m. at Harbor Christian Center, which is 1551 Wilmington Boulevard. He will be missed, my Benny. May he rest in peace, and God bless him.
All right, seeing no other adjourning motions, we're adjourned for this afternoon. Thank you.
Well, I guess that's it. Look, Mr. Spindler was there the whole time. Look at him. Look at him. Hey! It's got the goat puppet and everything. Thanks again, Jason, for the goat puppet, man. See, he ain't got much else to do. He gets that big-ass barrel of coffee going and hangs out. You know what I mean? The big barrel of coffee. That's how we do's it. Barrels of coffee. Barrels of coffee. Hold on. Up. No. Let's do that. So, yeah, man. At least we got something in today. They're back in session. It's good to see that they're finally back at work. That's always nice to see. But like I said, guys, I don't have any weed. I have like literally 2 bowls of weed left. So what I was thinking is I'm not going to go live tonight. So that way tomorrow morning I can just go get some weed tomorrow morning. And then we can go live tomorrow night. So we'll do a Wednesday hump day show instead of today's show. That's weird. Look at the live keys. Viva the keys. Look at the freshies. So yeah, man, we'll do something a little different. Oh, ball, it's dead over there, Ryan. I just looked over there. That's why I came to this. But yeah, because that's all I have. I have one. It's the only thing That's all I got left. One little bowl. So yeah, different is good sometimes, and sometimes Tuesday's a little slow for us. We noticed that. So why not do a Wednesday this week? It's not a big deal. We got one in now, and again, we'll be live tomorrow too for both shows. It'll be a double. It'll be our normal Tuesday show tomorrow, Wednesday. So we'll get the early morning LA City Council show, and we'll get the nighttime show tomorrow. And that way, it'll give me time to go get some bud. What's up, Jester? Go take the bus to downtown, go see Martinez and shit, because I ain't got nothing, man. Shout out to Martinez.
And we know that Martinez stuff is the bomb.
So, yeah, I got to go see Martinez. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me today. Thank you for all the likes, the love, the donos, the thumbs ups, the camaraderie, and just the all-out fun, man, the laughs. Like I said, I won't be on tonight, but we will be on tomorrow, unless there's, of course, a chase. I'll hop on for the chase, of course. But other than that, I guess I will see you tomorrow at about the same time, 10:15 a.m. And, yeah, other than that, have a fantastic Taco Tuesday, and hopefully you can join us for the Hump Day Fun tomorrow. And, yeah, shout out to everybody who called in. Thank you again to Jason for the cool puppet that everybody loved and I love. And I got to put it back in the bag so old Stink Bomb, wherever he's at, doesn't fuck with it. Because I know, if you notice, when I pulled it out of the bag, you saw him, right? He was just like... So I know if I leave it out here, it's going to be on the floor or something. He's going to take it. So I can't leave it out of the bag. I'm glad it came in a nice little bag so I could put it in the bag. You know what I mean? So thank you again, Jason. And thank you to all you guys, man. Thank you for everything you do for me. Thank you to all the new people that signed up and joined the family. And I guess that's it for now. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your Taco Tuesday and be good.
Hasta la vista, baby.